Hey everyone, how's it going? Good evening. Welcome to the King Angel Show. This is True Crime. What's up? How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. It's been a while. I apologize. Yeah. I always say the same thing, but you know what? We're gonna have some interesting true crime. I don't like to call it fun, so we'll just call it an interesting good time, I guess. We're going to read through some true crime daily cases. Uh, I also am in the mood for maybe just watching some TikTok videos, maybe that have to do with true crime. We can maybe do like half an hour of that, see how that goes. And yeah, basically that's the plan for today. Um, we are so close to December. October flew. In case you were wondering, I am good. Everything's great on my end. I've been a little busy with work and life and whatnot and the day to days of life, but nonetheless, so glad to be here. Hold on. I always like to have a little bit of background music for the intros. Shout out to Patreon members that are listening to this episode on audio. Hope you're enjoying it. There is sort of like a background noise right now besides the lo-fi music that my wife's doing something in the kitchen, and she had let me know previously. The reason I wasn't going to start at 5, I'm a little bit later today because I was trying to figure out how to connect the AirPods to, well, not to the computer, but to see how I could make it work with the Windows capture of OBS. That's extremely specific. If you're not necessarily like streaming, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about, but OBS is the software that is used for streaming, whether it's live stream, or you can record as well, which is pretty convenient. And I can see the positives in using it. You can add like certain elements to it and whatnot, especially if you're not very familiar with Premiere Pro, but luckily I am, so I get the best of both worlds. The software in and of itself doesn't allow me to capture audio from a Windows capture, which is just capturing any image or video that's coming off of a screen or window and whatnot, hence the name. But there are other options. Like you can use the browser option from OBS, but it's really bad and it distorts the images and whatnot. It's crazy because with that one I would be able to use the audio, but it's a balance. So if anything, I apologize if you do hear anything in the back that shouldn't last that long, but I kind of don't want to disturb her with what she's doing. You guys already know I'm a wine country, California content creator and live streamer. I'm trying to catch up as much as possible because it's been a while. I'm trying to switch jobs right now as well. I'm not very keen on staying in one place anymore. Not to discredit the company or nothing. They're actually pretty good and have pretty good values and whatnot. So, I mean, can't go wrong with that. They're extremely clean, which is pretty awesome. But I find myself in the position in life where I want more. I need the next step, the next challenge, the next step up in the ladder of my own life and whatnot. Not like in general, but in my own life and the goals I want to achieve. And that's just been taking up a little bit of my time. So I mean, if you're watching this live stream, if you're watching this video, I'm actually going to leave this one up on YouTube so that you guys can enjoy for quite some time. To be quite honest with you, I feel a bit embarrassed of not being a lot more present when it comes to my content creation and my live streaming. I am hoping to get better brains on my life so I can provide you with better entertainment, but it's been hard the last few weeks, I'm not gonna lie. It's not that the desire hasn't been there for me to want to content create and live stream, but at the same time, it's just time just has not been on my side. So I apologize, like I said before. I am going to work on it. I'm going to work on it a lot more than I worked on it the last time. uh, uploading more videos on TikTok where you can follow me, uploading the audio versions, and some different type of content on Patreon as well. That is a $1 a month. That would be of great support, great help as well. That would go directly into the show in and of itself. So there are some things I want to improve. I want to eventually get a stream deck, get a better green screen as well. But I have to balance. I did a huge buy at the beginning and sort of middle of my live stream and content creation journey, but I basically went through my budget that I had to deal with my wife, and I can't be unfair like that. She is, pretty supportive of what I do, and we are adults. At the end of the day, I do have to balance things out. So, yeah, I went through that budget. So anything that you can, support when it comes to Patreon, that is $1 a month. I guess it only lets you do the dollar, but for the support, you can also do Twitch as well if you're interested. I don't know how much Twitch is, but I am affiliate on the channel that you're watching me right now on. So hello if you're watching me on Twitch. Again, it would be of great support towards the show. If not, do just follow me on Twitch. You can watch my videos on YouTube. You can comment on them, share them out to your loved ones, and it doesn't cost you a dime. You can also, if you subscribe to my YouTube, you will see a YouTube post that'll be posted one of these days. I am going to either close or sort of like pause, not pause, it would really make a difference, but the current Discord that I have for the King Angel show, and I'm going to just create a new one that's completely niched out and will be specifically for true crime, murder mystery, everything and anything horror. That includes movies, music, documentaries, articles. I love the horror world, especially movies. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to that. Sorry. Cults, weird, like supernatural things. Nothing like conspiracy wise. I don't jump into like the conspiracy world, but in like actual real life reality, there's a lot of weird shit that happens, and I'm always interested in those topics. And cults, you can talk for weeks about the different type of cults that have emerged all around the world. Specifically here in California, we are really well known for being a breeding ground for any and every type of cult that you can think about, from the extremely religious to the ones focused on health, or the holistic ones, or anyone. It doesn't really matter. You can find it here in California. So if you haven't been convinced about living here before, and you're into like cult and shit, this is the best place for you. I mean, Jonestown did start in California. That's just saying that. Just saying that. And LA is notorious for having a whole bunch of different type of cults, and I'm interested in that. So if you're interested in those type of topics and you want to further the conversation and watch a movie with me, or anything that has to do with those type of topics, again, it's going to be niched only for that. Join that Discord. I will post the link during the week. I don't have it right now. I haven't created it. I was still torn between what decision I was going to make, but I'm just going to do it. The one I currently have, as much as I tried, and I can be honest about it, it did not go the way I thought it was going to go. I don't understand why people just like join Discords and don't really talk or anything. So, yeah, I was not happy with it, and it was not worth me having it and not feeling happy about it. So I am going to close that one, or probably leave it open, but I'll take the features that I pay for, and I will better link it to the true crime one. That way we can watch like whatever we're watching in HD and whatnot. Yeah, so if you follow me on YouTube, or if you can't post it on Twitch, it would have to be YouTube as a post. So, like I said, follow me on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. I guess you can follow me on Twitch, subscribe to my channel on YouTube. You catch the drift. You'll see the link to that Discord there. I will post some sort of video on TikTok as well, just to kind of announce it. And which reminds me, like I said, follow me on TikTok, and I will be going live there very, very soon. Hopefully I'll be going live this week, even if it's just like bare bone reading cases and whatnot, or like whatever pops up. I will be going live on TikTok. Even if it's to 0 viewers, I have to start that journey somehow. And I've been a little freaked out about it, but I don't know why. I don't know. I get a lot more anxious thinking of going live on TikTok than I would go live on any other platform. So I don't know. Maybe it's because there's a lot more accessibility to the app, and there's just so many people on it that there could, you could well have the luck that you get a whole bunch of people viewing you and whatnot. And I don't know. People on TikTok are vicious sometimes, but oh well. That's neither here nor there. Follow me there. You can do that for the true crime, which is what we're going to be doing tonight. Like I said, True Crime Daily, or for the King Angel show as well. Sorry, I got a little distracted. I was refreshing the page I had here open for all the things that we're going to read tonight. And I think that's about it. I announced that Discord, new Discord that's coming. I don't have a name for it yet. Let me know in chat if you can think of something that could relate to the topics that I mentioned before. I was thinking of just calling it like, I don't know, like everything horror, or I don't know, because really is like true crime necessarily considered horror, albeit we have read cases that could well be a horror story. I don't know. Let me know in chat what you think. That would help me out a whole lot. And let's start tonight's show. I appreciate you Patreon members. If you're hearing this audio version, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, it means a world to me. The world. A world, which is the one that we're in, and the world, which is still the one we're in. Boom. Double whammy. Yeah. Someone wrote a comment the other day. I don't listen. They had a problem with me like vaping and whatnot when I'm live streaming, especially when we watch the videos after whatever case I read and whatnot. And to you I say, first off, mind your business. Doesn't really matter. It's not you. If you don't do it, then fine, that's you. You choose to do whatever you feel is best for your life. B, I'm surprised that everyone that doesn't do anything that has to do with true crime isn't smoking packs of cigarettes all the time, with how anxious these things make, fanatics of true crime. It's completely riddled with anxiety, every single case that you read or you see. Yeah, the more you do it, I guess you grow numb to it, because you're using it as a source of entertainment for other people. But dude, nonetheless, you're still human. You still have to read it. You still have to research all this shit and whatnot. To those content creators that create actual videos for cases, and this, in this specific live stream, we read different cases that are happening all across the U.S. right now. Either just happened recently, or people are getting, arraigned or sentenced and whatnot, and we get to read about the outcome, and they always give a detailed summary of the who, what, where, when, how of the cases. So pretty informative. That's what we do here on the King Angel Show, present true crime. That's what we are going to start doing right about now. So I will make sure I pause this music, switch over to the other screen. Give me one small second. All right. True Crime Daily. Starting tonight's episode, we're going to Tennessee. Okay, this first case title says Tennessee judge upholds death sentence of woman who killed teen with asphalt and kept skull as souvenir. Wow, okay. Published November 3rd, 2023, and this is in Knoxville. It says, a judge upheld the sentence of the only woman on Tennessee's death row almost 30 years after she killed a 19-year-old because she, quote-unquote, just felt mean that day. According to the Nashville Tennessean, 47-year-old Krista Pike's attorneys cited a recent Tennessee Supreme Court case, Tennessee v. Tashawn Booker, in the hope it would sway the judge to overturn the ruling. The Tennessee Supreme Court wrote in the Booker ruling, in fulfilling our duty to decide constitutional issues, we hold that an automatic life sentence when imposed on a juvenile homicide offender with no consideration of the juvenile's age or other circumstances violates the prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment under the 8th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Pike was 18 years old when she killed Colleen Slemmer in January 1995. The Nashville Tennessean reports Pike's attorneys said her sentencing should be amended because there is no hard line of maturity or difference between the brain development of a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old. WBIR-TV reports Judge Scott Green wrote in his decision, this ruling applies only to juvenile homicide offenders, not to adult offenders. Pike was convicted of murder in 1996 and sentenced to death. According to the Nashville Tennessean, due to Pike's age at the time of the murder, she is the only person left on death row who was 18 years old when they committed the crime. She is also reportedly the only female on Tennessee's death row. Following this week's decision by the Knox County judge, Pike's attorneys said in a statement, at the time of the crime nearly 30 years ago, Krista Pike was a teenager, just 18, with untreated severe mental illness and a history of severe, repeated physical and sexual abuse, violence, rape, and neglect that began when Krista was very young. Krista's co-defendant, who was 17, will be eligible for parole soon. Yet Krista, who was just a few months older, may be executed. According to Pike's appeal filed to the U.S. Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals in 2018, on January 11th, 1995, Pike told her friend she wanted to kill Slemmer because she had just felt mean that day. On January 12, 1995, the friend saw Pike with Slemmer, Pike's boyfriend, and another student from the Job Corps Center. The group walked away at approximately 8 p.m., and they returned about 2 hours later without Slemmer. The same night, Pike reportedly went to her friend's room and said she slit Slemmer's throat multiple times with a box cutter, hit her with asphalt, and cut her back with a meat cleaver. She then carved a pentagram into Slemmer's forehead and chest. The appeal says Pike kept a piece of Slemmer's skull as a souvenir and even brought it to breakfast with her the next morning. She reportedly had a difficult upbringing, which included reportedly being sexually abused by her grandmother's boyfriend and neglect by her parents. Her father reportedly tried to put her up for adoption right before she turned 18. When Pike was young, her mother reportedly stayed at a bar to drink even though Pike was having seizures and needed to go to the hospital. The appeal said, in part, all in all, the jury heard a clear story. Pike's childhood and upbringing were very difficult and, in some ways, explained how she became a person capable of such a brutal murder. According to the court document, Dr. Eric Engum said at her trial he examined Pike and, although she suffered from no symptoms of brain damage or insanity, she did suffer from very severe borderline personality disorder and exhibited signs of cannabis dependence and a depressive disorder. Another forensic psychiatrist, Dr. William Burnett, said Slemmer's murder included quote-unquote satanic elements, but it appeared more indicative of an adolescent dabbling in Satanism. The Tennessee Supreme Court justices rejected her 2018 claim because Pike's case was not an exception of a heinous and inexplicable crime. They wrote, but in sentencing Pike to death, we ruled out the possibility that her crime was a product of the immature mind of youth rather than fixed depravity. And we presume that she is incapable of reform, even though the stories of other teenage killers, many of whom have been rehabilitated behind bars, reveal other possibilities. This was in 1995. You need to remember, this was still at the height, or maybe not necessarily the height, but still within the time of the Satanic Panic. Why she did it? Because she did carve a pentagram into her victim's forehead. I don't know. Could be that she was dabbing into what, quote unquote, what they call Satanism, which, it's 2023. There's a lot of information that if you're wanting to just read about, you can Google it. But back then, we didn't have access to that information. So if you lived through the 90s like I did, 95 was, it's still Satanic Panic. We just had Marilyn Manson releasing his first albums and whatnot. There was that whole element of that shock rock, and Slayer was already around. We had other bands that were emerging during that time as well that just elevated this whole obsession with Satan and whatnot. And again, it's just lack of information. It's something that I guess now is not as prevalent as it was back then, but that played a lot in how the case was viewed. Because again, 95, this was 29 years ago. There's been a lot of rain that's fallen during that time. There's a lot of things that have changed as well, but one thing stays the same, and it's that people will always find excuses to just blame in this case the supernatural, but kind of not taking responsibility for the crime that you committed. I mean, this person did hit this person with a sledgehammer, and what was it? It was a cut her back with a meat cleaver, hit her with asphalt, and slit her throat multiple times with a box cutter. Yeah. All right, let's check out WBIR's webpage, and we'll check to see if they have a video and whatnot. Title says, Judge dismisses death row inmate Krista Pike's bid to reopen her criminal case. This website's from Knoxville, Tennessee. Shout out, Tennessee. Let me put it more into the center. And
another legal blow for the only woman on Tennessee's death row. A judge has denied Krista Pike's motion to have her death sentence reconsidered. That motion filed back in August. Pike and two other people were convicted in the killing of Colleen Slimmer on UT's Ag campus back in 1995. In the motion, her attorneys argued a recent state Supreme Court decision applies to her. That ruling addresses life sentences for offenders younger than 18. But Pike was almost 19 when she murdered Slimmer. This week, a Knox County judge said Pike was not a juvenile at the time, so the Supreme Court decision does not apply.
Okay, let's see if I can find... I'm going to pause this. This is the weather. Okay, so Krista Pike. So we're doing, wait, what is it? Knoxville. Let's see if we can find a quick video. Oh, these are images. Trying to see if maybe we can find something about when she was arrested, or the trial in or around 1995. I guess it wouldn't be 95. I guess it would be a lot further down the road after they do investigations and whatnot.
The only woman on Tennessee's death row is asking the courts to reconsider her death sentence. Krista Pike was convicted in 1996. She and 2 other people tortured and killed 19-year-old Colleen Slemmer. 10 News reporter Ryan Connors explains what the move means for the family of the victim. What happens next?
Hey, Senpai Universe. Thank you so much for that raid. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Welcome in, Raiders. We're doing some True Crime Daily tonight. How's it going? I really appreciate it. Damn, I didn't even realize it just popped up there. Thank you very much. I don't know why my sound alerts are not working. Case we just read about is a case from Knoxville, Tennessee. This is Krista Pike. She killed someone called Colleen in a pretty brutal manner. They just gave her a life sentence, and I guess she was reconsidering, asking the court to reconsider her case and whatnot, and that is the news report that we are just reading right now. So appreciate those raiders coming in. Sit back, relax, and if you like true crime, then you've come to the right place. Senpai, thank you so much for that raid, like I said before.
Robin, Krista Pike has tried on 3 separate occasions on both state and federal levels to get off of death row, but they've all failed. That's not stopping her and her legal team from giving it another try. Colleen's family says more than 25 years later, they're still looking for closure.
They're not even caring about the victim. And they need to, because this is really, really hard on the family. I went through hell, to be honest, and it's not right. Colleen was tortured.
That's the reaction of Colleen Slemmer's mother to a recent request from her daughter's killer. Krista Pike wants her death sentence reconsidered.
She shouldn't have any appeals. Her appeals were done 2 years ago. So I don't understand why this has all of a sudden come up. She was sentenced to death. Everything was all done. It's been 28 years.
The request asks the state to reevaluate how Pike was sentenced. Her lawyers claim her age and mental health weren't taken into account at the original sentencing. Pike was 18 years old at the time of the killing. Her lawyers say her brain wasn't fully developed.
If a person's mental capacity is so limited as to be defined as intellectually disabled under the law, it is considered cruel and unusual punishment for the state to seek the death penalty against that person.
Criminal defense attorney Chloe Akers is familiar with those sentencing laws. She represented Tyshawn Brooks in a case that went to the state Supreme Court. The court ruled juveniles are constitutionally different than adults for sentencing purposes. Akers says because Pike was 18 at the time of the crime, her case is different.
The day that someone turns 18, they become the subject matter of the jurisdiction of adult criminal court in this country.
Now, Robin, as far as what comes next, the court's going to hear from the state before they rule on this new motion to bring back the appeal.
All right. Ryan, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
The audacity. Again, used a box cutter to slit her throat, hit her with asphalt, and cut her back with a meat cleaver. And carved a pentagram into her forehead. Because it couldn't stop there, huh? But, again, this was during the Satanic Panic, and could have well been just to cause some type of like shock and whatnot. It's crazy how it was pretty prevalent back then. That was crazy, especially during like. Sorry, I have to mention this, but I mean it is a true crime live stream, so things, occurrences that have happened sometimes do pop up. This is when Columbine happened. This was, in my opinion, more when they were at the point of just like using the whole Satan and whatnot as just the excuse for, you know, not taking mental health into consideration, or, you know, there's a lot of things that go into play when it comes to like Columbine and whatnot. But I think they took like Eminem, and like, I'm not sure if they took Eminem though, but he was being accused for his music was helping these kids like commit these crimes and whatnot. And same thing happened like Marilyn Manson. And looking back on that time, that was crazy to just think that people who are, you know, musicians, that now you just see them, they just like, you can see past all that. You can see it's a gimmick, and it's just a way for them to make money. But back then, people used to take this shit seriously. And yeah, they were mentioned in the whole court case, and they mentioned The Matrix too, because I guess the monsters that committed that crime at Columbine, they had like the long jackets and whatnot that they use in Matrix, and those were very weird times. I'll be honest with you. Now we have the internet, and we're able to answer questions, or at least have the opportunity and the means to dig into things a little more than just take it at face value. But back in the 90s, whatever the media fed you, whatever people told you, that was kind of what you believed. You didn't have a choice. There was no other way to verify unless someone else would tell you if it was true or not. So yeah, very, very different times. We'll move on to the next case, and we are going to Louisiana. Title says, a suspect allegedly killed elderly woman with walker because she believed she wanted her boyfriend. Published November 3rd, 2023. Stuck in summer. This is in Baton Rouge. Police arrested a 37-year-old woman this week who allegedly beat an elderly victim to death during a dispute about the suspect's boyfriend. The Baton Rouge Police Department alleges that on Thursday, November 2nd, Denise Law killed 66-year-old Melinda Reed at 3532 Riverway Drive. Reed sustained severe injuries to her head and face and was transported to a local hospital, where police said she later died. According to an affidavit obtained by the advocate, Law allegedly confronted Reed inside a house at around 2:40 p.m. because Law believed Reed wanted a relationship with her boyfriend. Their dispute continued outside, where Law allegedly hit Reed with a metal walker. A witness reportedly informed police that Reed fell to the ground, and Law continued striking her until bystanders intervened. According to the advocate, Law also tossed Reed's cell phone into a storm drain, which was later retrieved by firefighters. Police arrested Law and booked her into the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison in a charge of first-degree murder. The investigation is ongoing. Wow. She beat her with a walker. That's crazy. Okay, this is from theadvocate.com. Title, woman arrested after 66-year-old beaten to death with walker. Baton Rouge police say. I will not give you my location. And I guess this is the house where it happened. Oh, boo. I don't want to turn off my ad blocker. Check to see if this has a video. Well, it doesn't have a video, so it's just repeated information. And other link that's here is from the Baton Rouge Police Department. But if you don't know what a metal walker looks like, it is not a video game. It is not. That's a metal walker. And yeah, she beat that other woman to death with a metal walker. Crazy. Know how hard she had to hit her. Know how mad you have to be to kill someone with this. It's crazy. Mind you, grandma's 66 years old. Wow. Alright, moving on. I'm telling you, people need to chill. Yikes. All right, Texas. We're going that way. Title says, significantly decomposed homicide victim found in Texas is identified. Published November 3rd, 2023, and this is in Beaumont. Police have identified a homeless homicide victim whose remains were found in a wooded area last weekend. According to a news release from the Beaumont Police Department, on Sunday, October 29th, at approximately 6:46 p.m., officers responded to the area of Avenue C and Crockett Street to a report of a deceased person. Once there, officers found a significantly decomposed homicide victim. To help identify the victim, detectives unveiled descriptions and sketches of the victim's tattoos. As a result, police identified the victim as 65-year-old Johnny Tomlinson. According to KFTM-TV, Tomlinson's remains were discovered near a gas station and where he had been camping. Some of his belongings, including a bike and a backpack, are reportedly missing. A friend of Tomlinson told KFDM that the victim had difficulty moving and faced physical challenges. Friends have reportedly said that Tomlinson was a gentle, courteous, and soft-spoken man. Detectives have asked anyone with information regarding Tomlinson's whereabouts from October 15 on to contact police. Damn. Seems like they killed him and then they robbed him as well. I think I actually read an article about a week and a half ago. I'm going to look for it and I'm going to try to post it here on chat. And yeah, I know that there's an increase of like robberies amongst like homeless people, and wow, that's insane. It's as if the homeless people don't have problems already. Got a little tongue twisted there, but it's as if they don't already have problems in and of itself. When you have to add that, you have to be mindful of getting robbed by other homeless people that are going through the same situation as you as well. That's crazy. All right, one sec. I'm gonna take this off. Okay, this is KFDM.com. Title says, Remembering Johnny Tomlinson. Friends mourn homeless homicide victim while police search for killer. This was published November 3rd, 2023. I'm not going to reread the information that's here because it's what we just read. But we will watch this video and let's remember Johnny.
To attend tonight, friends of a homeless homicide victim are remembering his kindness while police search for his killer.
65-year-old Johnny Tomlinson, known by many even beyond the homeless community. KFDM's Sydney Ferguson joining us in studio tonight with reaction. Sydney.
Kimberly, Aaron, close friends describe Johnny Tomlinson as soft-spoken, polite, and genuine. They say his death makes no sense and they're hoping to achieve justice for their friend.
I got him something cold to drink, and we spoke for a minute, and that was the last time I saw him.
Jamie Gore last saw her friend Johnny Tomlinson several weeks ago at a nearby gas station. Wednesday, she identified his body for Beaumont police.
I've seen him help people out and look out for people when he didn't have it for himself and still give it away. And so for somebody to do that to him, I mean, it made no sense.
The homeless man's body was found Sunday afternoon in a wooded area near the intersection of Crockett Street and Avenue C, just a few streets away from where he had been camping. Police say the body was severely decomposed. His belongings, a bike, and backpack are missing.
I don't know how anybody could do that to somebody who doesn't have anything, you know? Like, he already doesn't have anything. You're just going to take what little bit that he does have.
Eric Ardwin, an advocate for the homeless, describes Tomlinson as a good man and says he had baptized him earlier this year.
He was in really, really good spirits about his life and just excited to see what God was going to do for the rest of his life.
Ardwin says the homeless population in Beaumont is growing and that at night, Beaumont becomes a different place for those living on the streets.
Just a quick reminder, you know, doesn't take much to have a little bit of humanity. There are plenty of homeless people here in the States, and the numbers are growing with this huge inflation that we're going through, this extremely bad economic situation that all of us in this country find ourselves in right now, or not all of us, a good chunk of us do, because unfortunately there are plenty of billionaires and millionaires around, but nonetheless, those of us that are not part of that group can see the rise in homelessness. And at the end of the day, and this is the way I see it. Let me know in chat the way you see it, if your opinion differs from mine. But if you live in this country and you are, or consider yourself part of the middle class, or I don't know what middle class is at this point right now, because that line is just completely disappeared at this point. So there is, I don't really know where where does one begin and one end. So but let's just say, quote unquote, the middle class, or the working class, poor class. That, I don't know, it's, well, I guess middle class but is the working class, but there is no middle class basically anymore, so we're all just either rich or poor at this point. But us normal people, I guess, we are, or the majority of us are like, what, paycheck to paycheck? I know some people have like 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to sustain themselves and their family. Like, I'm a little bit, I guess, in a better situation, but it's because I don't have kids. But if I would one day want to start a family, it's hard because it's expensive and there's so many things that go attached to it. And how does that play into like the homelessness problem? And it's just, everything is so damn expensive. It's getting to a point where it feels like a bubble is gonna pop, but it just never pops. It's just the pressure and the stress is just consistently there. And again, it's bad enough that you have to go through this every single day. Add to it the fact that you could be homeless at any given moment. Again, some people, they live paycheck to paycheck, and some people don't even have that paycheck. They're a day, a week away from losing it all. And it's becoming a more common problem now. So, yeah. I don't know, man. I guess just a little bit of humanity. We're all human beings. It's regardless of the situation that you find yourself in. Saw a video recently. Homeless person was explaining, there's days that people just don't even talk to him. And, everyone that's walking around has like their own problems and whatnot, but yeah, it's getting pretty hard, and it's being felt by more people every day that passes by. I feel for this because you work very hard. I mean, and when I say you, I mean like people in general, and yet there's just that goal is just becoming a dream that is unachievable at this point. And the reality of life and how fast your situation can change, that shit scares the fuck out of me. Scares the hell out of me. That keeps me up at night sometimes. Yeah. Nonetheless, just have a little bit of humanity. No. People that are living on the streets, they're still human beings too. How many cases we've read of people doing shit to homeless people intentionally? Man, it sucks. All right, let's finish watching this video. But again, I'm serious when I talk about the humanity part. It's very much needed. You never know what situation you can find yourself in. You never know where your tomorrow will end up. You just don't know. And you can have the best cushion in the world. You can have all the money right now, and it's just you don't know about tomorrow. And what you have today, it's not for sure that you have it. But 2 days from now, 10 days from now, a year from now, 10 years from now. Life's tough. It's tough.
This is the 4th time someone that I know that's out here on the streets has died out here. We have a few safe camps here in town, but for the most part, these men and women and children are left out here to fend for themselves.
Now,
Yes, because there are children that are homeless as well. Just want to throw that out there.
Gore and Ardoin want to make sure their friend isn't forgotten.
Somebody knows what happened to Johnny. Who's really going to ever know until the truth really comes out? And I pray for swift justice for Johnny.
Gore says Tomlinson was physically challenged and couldn't get around very well. Anyone with information about his death is encouraged to contact Southeast Texas Crime Stoppers at 409-833-TIPS. Kimberly, Aaron.
Jeff.
Hey, you never know who hears these live streams or who coincidentally lives in Texas. And it's like, oh shit, I may have some piece of information. So you heard that number when she said it, and if you see anything, say something. Never know. You never know. Alright, damn. Again, dude, it's just the fact that the person was homeless now, it's just situations. It's insane. Alright. We're going to Pennsylvania. Title says, nurse accused of administering lethal doses of insulin to patients, killing 17. True Crime Daily, published November 2nd, 2023, and this is in Harrisburg. A 41-year-old nurse accused of killing patients with a fatal amount of insulin is now facing additional murder and attempted murder charges for allegedly mistreating 19 other people at 5 different medical facilities. On Thursday, November 2nd, Pennsylvania Attorney General Michelle Henry announced that her office charged Heather Presti with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 17 counts of attempted murder, and 19 counts of neglect of a care-dependent person. She was previously charged with 2 counts of homicide, 1 count of attempted murder, 1 count of aggravated assault, 3 counts of neglect of a care-dependent person, and 3 counts of reckless endangerment in May. The May charges stem from alleged crimes that occurred at Quality Life Services in 2022. Presti allegedly administered too much insulin to a 55-year-old and 83-year-old man in December 2022, and a 73-year-old man in August 2022. The 55-year-old and 83-year-old patients died as a result, while the 73-year-old man survived but required emergency medical treatment. According to the Attorney General's office, only 1 of the patients was diabetic. Further investigation revealed that between 2020 and this year, Presti allegedly did the same to additional victims while she worked as a registered nurse for Concordia at Rebecca Residence, Bel Air Healthcare and Rehabilitation, which is a Guardian, Quality Life Services, Chickora, Premier Armstrong Rehabilitation and Nursing Center, and Sunnyview Rehabilitation and Nursing Center. The patients ranged in age from 43 to 104 years old, and some were diabetic, while others were not. The Attorney General's office said Presti often administered the insulin during overnight shifts when staffing was low and the emergencies would not prompt immediate hospitalization. In total, Presti allegedly killed at least 17 patients and mistreated 22 while they were under her care. The first-degree murder charges stem from cases where physical evidence is available to support the cause of death. And the attempted murder charges are from incidents where the victims either survived the excessive dosage of insulin or the cause of death could not be determined, according to the Attorney General's office. On Thursday, November 2nd, the Honorable Mara Palumbi, arraigned Presti. She remained held in the Butler County Prison without bail. Henry said in a statement, "The allegations against Ms. Presti are disturbing. It is hard to comprehend how a nurse, trusted to care for her patients, could choose to deliberately and systematically harm them." Wow. Holy shit. 17 patients, huh? Crazy. Kind of funny that she was transferred to so many different rehabilitation and nursing centers, and no one did a background check on her, or there was just no sort of information that was passed on from hospital to hospital. I read a case about this doctor that, while not necessarily the same, I'll tell you what I think the link is. This doctor would inseminate women and from his own semen, but they were there to go through the process of, selecting sperm and whatnot, and the specific sperm, but he would use his own. Another case is the famous case of another nurse that worked at elderly care facilities, and she killed a whole bunch of elderly people, and no one could figure out why that hospital, or nursing center, I guess, there were so many people dying there, and it was her. She was injecting them with something. What do all these things have in common? It's this weird make-believe deity that some doctors and nurses, because they deal with end-of-life patients or patients that require their care, people that go to hospitals are in need of something because something hurts, because they're going through something, whatever the case may be. You see a doctor, you see a nurse. A lot of doctors and nurses are great people, and they genuinely care for their patients, and they want the best for them, and they go through the whole doctor-patient procedure, and it's completely normal. But some doctors and nurses, they ride this huge high horse, and they think of themselves as the owners of the lives of patients that go and see them, and they commit these heinous crimes. I mean, think about it. If you would at least maybe want to give this person, a case that we just read, the benefit of the doubt, you would say, she wasn't good at her job, and she was just injecting people with insulin that were diabetic, but she didn't know how much insulin she was giving these patients, but she was giving it to patients that didn't even have diabetes. So, and I'm sorry, diabetes. I apologize. It's just something I picked up from a TV show, and it's always stuck with me. It's from It's Always Sunny, but that's neither here nor there. It's diabetes. Okay, sorry. Some of the patients didn't even have it, and she still injected them with insulin. So it was very much premeditated. She knew exactly what she was doing, and no wonder she has so many charges against her. But think about it. It's that weird fetish that people have, that they want to be able to play God, and doctors do that all the time. So that's why that doctor that I mentioned beforehand, and he inseminated all these women that had gone to the sperm bank to this doctor because they wanted to form a family with specific sperm that they had picked out. But that's not what happened. And when I think one or two of the children, when they grew up, they did genealogy tests on themselves, and they found out that they had a whole bunch of siblings spread across the United States. And that's how they figured out that this doctor had done all this. Crazy. And again, it's the Jonestown actually started in the Midwest, Indianapolis, Indiana, if I remember correctly, and then he moved to California. Okay, yeah, you're absolutely correct, DeRay. That could well be, but it was in California at some point. California is still, though, breeding ground for cults, because we have had a whole bunch of cults here, and we still do. I know a lot of, not a lot of, I'll be honest with you. I've known 3 people in my life up until this point that have, first off, I hope you're having a great night. Thank you so much for being here. Very rude of me for not just giving you a quick shout out and saying welcome in. I hope you're having a great night. But yeah, 3 people I've met so far in my life that they were raised in cults, and they were raised in cults that are very much in the outskirts of California. Like I met this one person. She was in a cult that was in the mountains of or in a certain area of like Chico. That's really up north to where I'm from, and that person was raised in like the mountains and stuff like that, and that was a whole thing. The cult leader went to jail, and it was really bad. Like, she told me some really weird stories of stuff that happened up there. But yeah, nonetheless, there's a whole bunch of cults here in California. But specifically, the case that we're reading about right now, it's again that sense of holier than thou that a lot of doctors and nurses have. And I think that that's what happened with this case specifically. She is on this high horse of, she's better than everyone else. And it's just this thing about holding someone's life in your hand that it's crazy. Some people jerk at the idea. It brings them extreme anxiety. That's not something that, it's just a crazy thought to have. But there's just some people out there that, given that situation, dude would go on this power trip and they would cause serious damage. Hence why we have this nurse that killed some of them, but the total count of attempted murder was 17. I think she only killed 2 people, which were the 55-year-old and the 83-year-old. That I guess out of the 3, only one was diabetic. That's crazy. Insane. Let's see. The 2 links that we have here are just from the Attorney General. I guess this happened. So they announced the charges against, her name is Heather, on Thursday, November 2nd. This all happened in August 2022. All the crimes started in 2022. So yeah, hope you enjoy your time in prison, lady. Oh, that is so crazy to just to think of. Out of all those people, just out of curiosity, Okay, so I'm asking Google, what happens if you take insulin and you're not diabetic? See what it says. So, however unsupervised, I'm just reading the first one option here. It's from the National Institute of Health. And it says, however, unsupervised administration of insulin into a non-diabetic may lead to many serious downfalls in the blood glucose level, which may prove to be fatal. Therefore, these practices are very dangerous. Okay. This is also from the National Institute. They asked what would happen if a non-diabetic injects insulin. It says of the same insulin, if taken in overdose in these patients or in non-diabetics, can lead to hypoglycemic coma, which can have varied outcome from complete reversal to death. Since the introduction of insulin therapy in 1921, diabetics have used insulin overdose as a mode of suicide. Huh. Yeesh. Guys, I did not know that. I did not know that that was a form of a method of suicide by people that have diabetes. Let me know in chat. Did you guys know that? This is the first time I've ever heard of that. Crazy. I've obviously heard of, because I've experienced it in my family. A lot of people in my family have diabetes. I've heard of, what happens to you if you're a diabetic and you don't take insulin. But wow, the overdose of insulin as a method of suicide, I've never heard about that. But then again, that's how life works, man. You learn something new every day that passes. Isn't that something, huh? Wow. All right, we're going to Texas. Title says, Texas mom charged with capital murder. A year after son she called evil went missing. True Crime Daily. This was published November 2nd, 2023, and this is in Everman. A mother was indicted on murder and several other charges for allegedly killing her 6-year-old son, who has been missing for a year. In a Monday, October 30th press conference, Everman Police Chief C.W. Spencer announced a Tarrant County grand jury charged Cindy Rodriguez Singh with 1 count of capital murder, 2 counts of injury of a child, and 1 count of abandoning without the intent to return in connection with Noel Rodriguez Alvarez's disappearance and death. Spencer said the indictment will significantly support efforts to extradite Rodriguez Singh back to Texas from India. Rodriguez Alvarez went missing exactly 1 year ago. On March 20th, 2023, Everman police officers responded to a home on the 3700 block of Wisteria Drive to conduct a welfare check on the children who lived at the home, including Rodriguez Alvarez. Officers spoke with Rodriguez Singh, and she allegedly said Rodriguez Alvarez was staying with some family in Mexico. But Everman police said that was misinformation. 2 days later, Rodriguez Singh, her husband, and 6 children boarded a flight to India. Rodriguez Alvarez, however, was not present. Police learned several days after the family left that Rodriguez Singh paid for new concrete to be poured on the porch at their home. Investigators were able to obtain a search warrant and looked through the concrete and soil, but did not find anything. Okay. An arrest warrant was issued March 31st for Rodriguez Singh and her husband, Arshdeep Singh, for abandoning or endangering a child. In an April update, Everman police announced detectives were shifting from an endangered missing person case to a death investigation. Police said Rodriguez Singh was known by relatives to be abusive and neglectful to Noel, which included allegedly beating the boy with keys because he drank water. She allegedly withheld water and food because Cindy did not like changing Noel's dirty diapers. On July 21st, 2022, Rodriguez Alvarez attended a speech therapy appointment. He missed several other appointments after that, which caused the Texas Department of State Health Services to reach out to Rodriguez Singh to warn her she could lose government benefits for the boy. Everman police said Rodriguez Singh allegedly asked a friend's son to pretend to be Rodriguez Alvarez at the doctor's office. He was still alive in October because he was reportedly seen at the hospital after Rodriguez Singh gave birth to twins. Following the birth, Rodriguez Singh allegedly referred to Rodriguez Alvarez as evil and possessed. She also reportedly believed he had a demon living inside him. The next month, in November, Rodriguez Singh reportedly got photos and applied for passports for her 6 children, except for Rodriguez Alvarez. When people asked about Rodriguez Alvarez's whereabouts, she allegedly said he was in Mexico with his biological father, in Mexico with his aunt, or that she sold him to a woman in a market parking lot. Wow. Investigators determined Rodriguez Alvarez had not been trafficked or sold. In honor of Rodriguez Alvarez's memory, the city of Everman passed a resolution to name a new playground after him. They opted to take out his mother's name from the title and named the park Noel Angel Alvarez Playground. Spencer said at the October 30th press conference, "The last thing I want is to have a 6-year-old boy die at the hands of his mother. That's not what I want. But that's the facts that we're faced with here, and that's what we're looking at." Man, as hopeful as I want to be, and, this is just an opinion. Who knows? Maybe the child will pop up. Maybe kid's safe and sound. Maybe this is all just a misunderstanding, and the person, the kid will, he'll be safe and sound, and obviously not taken back to his mother. The kid deserves way better than the cards that he was dealt with by life, with this parent that he has. That's my hope, and we're crossing fingers for it. But the truth of the matter is, if there is an extended period of time that the child, no one has seen the child, yeah. And then there's just all these excuses, and it seems like it's just a lie after a lie. And I don't know, man. Chances are the news might not be good. We don't know anything. Noel has not been found yet. Hopefully, he's with a family member, and she'll just be arrested for everything she's done up until this point. But the kid will still be, if so, alive and well. But again, one can only hope. Keep an eye out on this case, and hopefully we'll get better news eventually. Jeez. All right. This last update was done March 31st, 2023. This last one was okay. So this is the October 30th. October 30th, 2023. So this was a few days ago. Let's check out the update. I guess this is from the city of Everman. I'll put the volume down for starters, and I'll gradually put it up. That way it won't just start, because we have had plenty of videos that are just extremely loud from the get-go. So, like I said, this is an update on Noel Rodriguez Alvarez. Okay, I'm gonna go a little forward. Cause they recorded like the whole beginning of it, huh?
Well, when they say you can scramble, you guys can scramble. Thank you. I apologize for this being last minute, but I do truly appreciate everybody rushing over here to get this. We weren't anticipating this to be released today, so as much of a surprise to me as it is to you. We were excited, but anyway, let me move on. It's been 4 months since we last provided an update on the investigation into the disappearance of Noel Rodriguez Alvarez. This week marks a year that Noel was last seen alive. Just a couple of hours ago, a Tarrant County grand jury has indicted Cindy Rodriguez Singh on felony charges including capital murder, 2 counts of injury to a child, and 1 count of abandoning without the intent to return. I'm so incredibly thankful to the Tarrant County District Attorney's Office and the DA Investigator's Office for their support and work on this case. These indictments will significantly support our effort to apprehend and extradite Cindy back to the United States. Teams are already working with the U.S. Marshal's Office on that effort. Over the past 6 months, our investigative teams have worked relentlessly on this case. They have been truly dedicated in the searches for Noel and justice. I cannot be more proud of the work that this team has put into this case, and I am incredibly thankful for all of them. Since our last update, investigators have continued to work tirelessly, including additional ground searches and tracking down new leads. It is essential to understand that our goal right now is to seek justice for Noel. And for that reason, I'm only able to share limited information above and beyond what has already been shared. Although this is a tremendous milestone for the justice in this case, make no mistake that our work is not done. We will continue to work towards justice, and we will continue to search for Noelle. I'm going to turn the podium over real quick to the mayor for the city of Everman, Mayor Ray Richardson, to share a few words with you, and then I'm going to come back and answer any questions that you might have.
Hello. First of all, I'd like to personally thank the detectives of the Edmond Police Department and all the outside agencies that came to assist us during our time of need. 2023 has been a difficult year for the city of Edmond. Not a day goes by that someone doesn't ask about Noelle or the missing little boy from Everett. No child should ever have to go through the abuse and neglect that Noelle went through. Now that the murder warrant has been issued, we will hopefully be able to get the answers to many unanswered questions that surround this case. The goal is and always has been to locate Noelle and give him the justice that he deserves. Sometimes when bad things happen, good things come out of it. Sometime over the next few weeks, the city of Everett will be dedicating an all-inclusive playground that is designed for children with special needs, such as Noelle. The playground will be named the Noelle Angel Alvarez Playground. This playground will keep Noelle's memory alive in the citizens' minds and hearts for many years to come. Obviously, we would prefer that Noelle was still here, being a little boy and going to school. But unfortunately, the reality is that Noelle may never be found. So, whether you knew Noelle or not, he will be missed and loved by a community that could never understand how this could have happened to him.
Such a grim reality. And the truth of the matter is, it's just after an extended period of time, and there's like data behind it, it's a lot harder. That's why I have that show, the first 48 hours, because it's within that time frame is when there's more chances of you either finding the person live or you could find the perpetrator, they're still in the area or within miles from where the crime was committed. But after 48 hours, it becomes increasingly more difficult. Each day that passes just gets that case, if it's not resolved, closer to it becoming a cold case. And once a case gets to that point and others just start taking precedence over that one case, that's when we get those extended periods of time that you get like 20 years, 25 years that we don't know what happened. I hope this doesn't happen with this case. Like he said, no child, no one in general deserves abuse, let alone a child that is like defenseless and whatnot. Yeah, I'm glad that the mom's being indicted and whatnot, but again, it's just a sad. Like I don't even know. It's just sad as fuck. Just having to accept that truth that dude, because there's just so much time that has passed up until this point. It's not that it's completely impossible, but yeah, it's very much so looking like the chances of the child being alive are pretty slim to none. Yikes. Happens a lot. It's not uncommon for us to read or have read, or in this case, if you follow like other content creators that do anything that has to do with true crime, they've probably covered cases that have that similar problem happen there as well. So that sucks. You can only hope that everything is fine and that the child can grow up to accomplish his dreams or not. Who knows? But still get the chance to live. Damn, that sucks.
Is a child named Noelle.
So I know this case is important to everybody. It's certainly important to our community. So I'm going to take my time answering questions. We may have quite a few, so we'll take our time. And I know it's been a while since we've updated So you may have to backtrack. So we'll take our time here. Go ahead, Dave.
Thank you. Can you talk about what additional evidence was told to the grand jury that maybe we were not privy to? Because throughout this process, it seems like there was a lot of...
So that person is asking about if there's any more evidence since the last time they had the police had done an update on this case. Anything that could, help better understand why, the mother is now being indicted and whatnot.
Something hoping for that we may not have gotten as far as what the cadaver dogs may have hit on, may not have hit on. What additional information were they presented that maybe has not been released on the police?
So when this case was presented to the grand jury, it was indicted in what's called a manner and means unknown to the grand jury. That's what they indicted on. And when you indict on that, essentially what we have to prove is we may not have a bottle. We don't have a bottle, right? But we have to prove a reasonable effort in identifying any and all other circumstances or potential outcomes for this boy. And our investigative team, the combination investigative team between all the other municipalities, the DA's office, that's what they've been working on tirelessly for the last 6 months, is trying to identify any other potential outcomes for this child, all of which have been ruled out, leaving us down to one simple conclusion that he was murdered.
Gotcha. Which is why they had mentioned before that, that he could have either been sold or that he was with a family member and whatnot. But I guess, yeah, like you said, they went through all those, ruled out any other of those other possibilities, and they were just left with murder. Damn. I hope that child is found. I know for a fact True Crime Daily will keep us updated on this because they already posted about this case back in April. So they're going to update us on anything that happens in regards to the kid. So hopefully, again, A would be that the child is found and he is returned safely home and he lives to be 95. But option B would be what the officer said, and the other kid was murdered by his mom, and yeah, we may never find the body. Who knows what she did to it. Hopefully he is found and there are more charges added to her and justice is served. All that's left is hoping that justice can be served, because nothing can bring that child back. That's it. Damn. That's no. Telling you, man. All right, we're going to Indiana. Title says, suspect arrested after allegedly killing Indiana man on Halloween 41 years ago. True Crime Daily published November 1st, 2023, and this is in Jackson County. It says, state police arrested a 61-year-old man exactly 41 years after he allegedly killed a 24-year-old man whose body was found in a rural area in December 1982. I'm sorry about that. According to a news release from Indiana State Police Sergeant Stephen Wheels, on November 4th, 1982, Clifford Smith's wife reported her husband missing. The next month, on December 1st, 2 animal trappers discovered Smith's remains by the White River in the area of County Roads 700 East and 800 North near Rockford. Wheels said Smith died from a gunshot wound to his head. Although detectives investigated the case, no arrests were made at the time. New officials assumed the investigation throughout the years. According to Wheels, Sergeant Kip Main has been actively investigating Smith's death since September 2015. Main determined that on the night of October 30th, 1982, Ronald Anderson was at home on East 13th Street with Smith and others. Anderson allegedly got a gun from the home, loaded it, and left with Smith. No one had seen Smith alive since that night. According to Wheels, detectives obtained evidence suggesting Anderson fatally shot Smith in rural Jackson County on October 31st, 1982. Anderson reportedly brought the gun he used back to the 13th Street house and went to the crime scene to hide potential evidence. Indiana State Police, with the help of the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office, obtained an arrest warrant for Anderson on a charge of murder. Police arrested him at his home on Halloween without incident. Anderson was booked into the Jackson County Jail. Thought he was going to get away with it. Sucks to be you, my guy. This sounds like the plot to those young adult crime, like thriller horror books that they used to sell back in the 90s. One of the authors was his name was Christopher Pike, and I remember him because he wrote a series of books. It's called The Last Vampire, that I absolutely loved as a kid, and it always stuck with me. The story, it's like I could like detail it, and it's been decades since I've read it. But the article we just read here on True Crime Daily could definitely fit like one of those books. Obviously with a lot more plot involved into it, but yeah. 40 years, huh? 40 years, and he really thought he was going to get away with it. Again, mentioned it before, and it's the advancements in technology that have now allowed investigators and, scientists and anyone that works in, the criminal investigation portion of law enforcement and whatnot, the CSIs of the world, but the actual real ones. It's just that they use all of these devices and hardware and the software and shit that, has them catching people that thought they were going to, like this person, thought he was going to get away with this crime committed 40 years ago. And he's now in jail. I always mention the same case every time we have any of these True Crime Daily cases that we read that I can compare to that one, and it's the Golden State Killer. That's how he was caught. They ran a napkin that investigators, they were following him and whatnot, and he was eating somewhere. He was throwing it away. They grabbed the napkin or a cup, either or. They analyzed it. They ran it through 23andMe or one of these like genealogy match websites and whatnot, and that's how they discovered that he had a family member, and they matched that family member, the whole like a family tree and whatnot, and that's how they were able to pinpoint the Golden State Killer. So yeah, shout out to science and technology. Again, a win for both of those. A loss for dumb criminals. Alright, moving on. Right. We are going to, Wisconsin. The title threw me off. 75-year-old former teacher sentenced for sexually assaulting teen boy at school. Jeez. True Crime Daily, published November 3rd, 2023. What is happening? This is in Toma. A judge has sentenced a 75-year-old woman to a decade in prison after she was found guilty of 25 assault-related charges in July. The Monroe County District Attorney's Office announced in a statement via the Toma Police Department that Ann Nelson Koch, was sentenced to 10 years in prison with 15 years of supervised release for sexually assaulting a 14-year-old student at the school where she worked. According to the statement, Nelson faced up to 634 years in prison, with 373 of those years incarcerated and 251 on supervised release. The district attorney's office argued for 100 years in prison. Judge Richard Radcliffe said Nelson used her position of power over the victim to meet her own needs, recognizing Nelson was an authority figure trusted by the victim. According to the statement, Nelson assaulted the student during the 2016-2017 school year and forced the teen victim to repeatedly engage in both oral and anal intercourse during school hours. The assaults reportedly occurred in the basement of a local private school. Both Radcliffe and Assistant District Attorney Sarah Skiles lauded the victim for coming forward and reporting the abuse to law enforcement. Radcliffe called the victim a leader of his family and community. Following the conviction in July, Skiles described him as an incredibly brave young man whom needs excessive amounts of therapy. That is pretty fucking disgusting. Wow. I fully understand why they originally had her for 634 years in prison. It's like each incarnation of her, if you really like believe in like reincarnation, but not would have faced a life sentence in prison. And I completely understand it, and I completely agree with it. That is some vile, disgusting shit. Wow. As if teachers already, don't have like bad already. Now you're adding like this type of like it's insane how these people just walk amongst us. Wow, it's baffling to me. It's just 75-year-old woman. Unbelievable. Let's see what the police has to say about this. It's from the Facebook account of the Toma Police Department, but they didn't write a... They only give her 10 years. Because that's one of the things. The Judge Radcliffe subsequently imposed a 10-year prison sentence, followed by 15 years of supervision. Obviously, the person is going to pass away, either in prison or when they go out. They're like this horrible fucking monster. But even though, like, I would have left the 639 years. Just to prove a point. Crazy. Wow. 75 years old. I mean, I don't trust anyone. Period. But I hope that this kind of like opens parents' eyes that, yeah, dude, like it's not, teachers are educators, and we appreciate good teachers that are there to educate. But this is crazy. This is insane. Ugh. Ugh. All right, moving on. Jesus fucking Christ. We're going to Cleveland. Title says, Cleveland man pleads guilty to torturing woman and stuffing her body in a storage container. True Crime Daily, published November 3rd, 2023. And this is in Cleveland. A 31-year-old man pleaded guilty to multiple charges for beating and assaulting a 60-year-old woman and putting her body inside a storage tote, which she managed to survive. WKYC-TV reports Delonte Edmund Geiger entered the plea Tuesday, October 31st, for charges of felonious assault, kidnapping, tampering with evidence, and having weapons under disability. He reportedly faces a maximum of 25 years in prison. According to the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office, in early May 2023, Edmund picked up the victim and drove her to his home on West 97th Street and Henley Court. When they got to his residence, he physically assaulted her, stabbed her in the arm, zip-tied her hands, and proceeded to torture her. WOIO-TV reports the victim was described as being stuffed and folded in the storage container. Cleveland police responded to the home May 2nd to conduct a welfare check, because there were reports of a woman acting hysterical, WKYC reports. The prosecutor's office said that when officers arrived, they located the victim in a small plastic container, moaning in pain on the porch. She was transported to a hospital with severe injuries. Police arrested Edmond on the scene. In addition to the charges he pleaded guilty to, the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office also charged him with attempted murder. Cleveland County Prosecutor Michael O'Malley said following the indictment, "I have seen a lot of truly terrible cases over the years, and this one is one of the most horrific I have seen." According to WOIO, the victim was in a coma for several days following her hospitalization and is now paralyzed because her spine and back were broken during the assault. Wow. Holy shit. Yeah, keep him in prison. He has no need to be out in the world doing absolutely nothing. Keep him in there. Okay. Video we're watching is from WKYC.com's website. Title of this says, Cleveland man pleads guilty to kidnapping woman and putting her in plastic container. So this is during his court case. That's the video we are about to watch. Volume is up. I'll restart the video since it started on its own.
Thank you, Your Honor. Chuck is up with the Public Defender's Office. Would acknowledge the indictment, waive any reading, advisement, and notice of issues. Enter not guilty plea, request reasonable bond.
What do they think they get with this attitude? It's not the first one. I've seen so many of these videos of these tough guys. I'm a tough guy. And I'll give you an example. I saw one today. He was acting all tough and shit. He was smiling. He was laughing. He blinked one of his eyes to the victim's parents and whatnot. And he was acting all tough until they read him the whole, like, with the jury, the decision the jury had come to, and they found him guilty of everything, and he was going to spend 25-30 years in jail. And let me tell you that his face, it was such a golden moment thing. It was just so great to see that shit wipe from the smirk to just start bitch crying, ah! oh, it is so good to see, because again, they're acting so tough. They're just and it's just like, do you understand how much anxiety the victim's family they're already going through this, because they have to sit in court and hear everything that happened to their loved one in great detail, repeatedly. Sometimes, lawyers, they hover on a certain point and they ask questions about it, and having to hear that, and on top of that, you have the perpetrator that is basically, making fun of the whole situation, laughing, having a great time. A lot of them like to flip the bird. They do the whole macho thing until reality sets in. And like the example I just gave you, they read them, the verdict, and they don't seem too happy. So this whole gimmick of, it's a gimmick. It's a way to, in my opinion, give off this energy of this, I don't care. I don't give a shit about this. I'm above this. I'm above this situation. Doesn't matter what you tell me. Doesn't matter what your verdict is. They're all tough and shit. And, freedom tastes pretty good. I don't know about you, chat. Let me know if you think differently. But I like my freedom. Freedom tastes wonderful. It tastes so good. So, again, I don't know what you're laughing about. you're going to be spending about like 20, 25 years in jail. You know what? There's a lot of stuff that happens in the world in 20, 25 years. Just think back at 25 years from this point back. It's 1998, 1999. How many presidencies have we had from this point? Do you know how much the country has changed from 1998, 1999? This person's going to jail now. It's 2023. What is that? 2048? If he does the whole 25 years? It's a long time. A lot of shit happens. It rains and pours a whole damn lot. So, I don't know. He thinks he's acting all tough and shit with his laughing. We're here together watching the video of him do this, and we're laughing at him. Ha! How the turntables have turned.
I would know the recommendation for 500. I don't, without having all the information about the case, he does have the hold, so I don't think the issue of getting out anytime soon is going to make a difference here, neither here nor there. But I think $500,000 recommendation is more than reasonable.
The bond will be set at a $750,000 cash surety property with an order of no contact with the victim.
Yeah.
Attorney Brian Radigan will be assigned to represent you. This is on the docket of Judge Holly Gallagher, and she will set her first pretrial.
$750,000?
That's correct, and there's also a probation hold.
She didn't. No one that spoke stuttered. And there was not one stutter at all. Yeah, dude. 750,000. See how that smirk changes? See how that tough guy, see how that persona changes? And, we've seen countless of these. I've seen countless of videos. You can find them on YouTube and shit. We have seen other videos like this on cases that we've read here on True Crime Daily, but reading them from True Crime Daily here on KAS True Crime. Sorry. But did you notice how it changed? Did you see? Oh, so good. I'm tempted to put it back and just see that moment again. Oh, it was such... You know what? Fuck it. We're going to do it. Smiling here, right? Look at the smile.
Would acknowledge the indictment, waive any reading advisement, and notice issues. Enter not guilty plea, request reasonable bond.
Just remember, he wasn't counting on her surviving the whole thing.
The state is requesting a $700,000 cash surety property bond in this matter. The defendant is alleged to have misled the police, also hit the victim in the porch. So for the safety of the victim and safety of the community, the state is asking for a $750,000 cash surety property bond. Thank you.
Is there any response?
I would know the recommendation for 500. I don't, without having all the information about the case, he does have the
Look at his face. Oh, so good. What happened? Oh no, it's not tough anymore. Damn.
The bond will be set at a $750,000 cash surety property with an order of no contact with the victim. Attorney Brian Radigan will be assigned to represent you. This is on the docket of Judge Holly Gallagher, and she will set her first pretrial.
Yeah, my man put that dumb face. Like, he's dumbfounded.
$750,000?
Yeah.
That's correct, and there's also a probation hold.
Well, okay, can y'all lift the hold and at least let me try to hold the bond? I don't think nobody in the courtroom got $750,000.
You'll have to speak with the judge assigned to this case, which is...
Damn, you know what would be funny? If the judge and a few other people would have looked at each other at that moment, like... I don't know what he's talking about.
Judge Holly Gallagher.
I'm about to fire. I need a new judge. I need a site judge and everything. That's Why y'all stealing my property?
Oh, nice.
Next we have.
Oh, my bad. Tough guy. Okay. Flip that bird. Did you guys see it?
Next we have.
Damn, and that dude is lucky that judge didn't see it. It would have been another judge. Psst. Judge would have been like, what did you just do? I'm sorry, did you just flip the... Did you just flip the bird at me? Oh, no, that's cool. Yep. Just caught another charge there, buddy. Ah. Now you understand why I enjoy... It's just that moment of... That switch... That, you know, when reality hits, poof, it's like that video that they have on YouTube. The moment you know you fucked up. Oh, it's that moment there. Should have kept your mouth shut. Should have not smiled. Should have not shown. Just be there. That's it. In a ideal world, you would have felt remorse, but obviously that whole macho persona, you know. I'm a big man and shit, and it's an act. And the video we just saw is a clear example as to why I think it's an act. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. I find that to be very interesting. Alright, we're going to Vermont. True Crime Daily title says, 2 Vermont men arrested after man is fatally shot during alleged drug dispute. Published November 3rd, 2023. And this is in Plainfield. And it says, 2 roommates were arrested after a man was reportedly shot and killed during a suspected drug dispute that ended with the victim's body being dumped in the woods. On Friday, October 27th, at approximately 4:30 p.m., hunters in Washington County discovered a body and contacted Vermont State Police. Troopers arrived at the scene and determined the male victim died under suspicious circumstances. The medical examiner conducted an autopsy 2 days later and identified the victim as 42-year-old Jeffrey Caron, who died from a gunshot wound. Then, on Tuesday, October 31st, Vermont State Police troopers took 35-year-old Kyle Brissett into custody on suspicion of murder, and 51-year-old Chris Relation for accessory after the fact to second-degree murder. According to Vermont State Police, Brissett and Caron allegedly got into a dispute involving drugs on October 24th or October 25th. Relation allegedly helped Brissett after the killing and did not contact police about it. Officials obtained warrants for their arrests and said Brissett refused to surrender for several hours. He had an additional warrant for his arrest on charges of aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, aggravated operation of a vehicle without owner's consent, operating a vehicle with a suspended license, failure to use ignition interlock device, and I guess it's a petty larceny. According to the Barre Montpelier Times Argus, Caron's body was reportedly burned, and surveillance footage from the area showed a fire around the time he was likely killed. Vermont State Police Detective Sergeant Isaac Merriam reportedly wrote in the affidavit that Relation and Caron allegedly wanted to rob Brissett for drugs. Relation and Brissett were roommates, but Relation allegedly did not want to live with him anymore. Brissett and Relation went back to their home while Caron hid with a pipe. Brissett and Caron got into an altercation, which resulted in Brissett allegedly shooting Caron in the chest. Following the shooting, Brissett allegedly took Caron's body and disposed of it in the woods. Merriam said in the affidavit, Brissett denied ever knowing Caron. Relation allegedly sent Caron a Facebook message asking where he was, but Merriam wrote in the affidavit, Relation knew Caron had been killed. Yikes. All for drugs, huh? See if we can find a video or something. Okay, this is the press release of the Vermont State Police with the 2 pictures of the perpetrators, the suspects that True Crime Daily has on their webpage. Let's see. So they did an autopsy and Cause of death was determined to be a gunshot wound. The matter of death is a homicide. Yeesh. Listen to this. Investigation to this point by the Vermont State Police indicates that this was a targeted, isolated incident and there was no danger to the public. Detectives do not believe there is a connection between this homicide and any of the other recent killings in Vermont. What recent killings are these people talking about? What's happening in Vermont? Very sad. Moving on. We are going to Florida. True Crime Daily. Title says, 3 accused of plotting to kill teen to prevent her from testifying about alleged sexual assault. Published November 3rd, 2023, and we're going to Tampa. 3 men are being charged with federal crimes for allegedly plotting to kill and fatally shooting a teenager to prevent her from testifying against one of the suspects because she accused him of sexual assault. According to Hernando County Sheriff Al Nienhuis, on February 6th, the victim, who WFTS TV identified as 17-year-old Isabella Scavelli, went to the sheriff's office with a relative to report she had allegedly been sexually assaulted by 36-year-old Leonard White. On February 7th at 11:30 p.m., Hernando County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to a home on Hazel Avenue in Brooksville regarding a double shooting. When officials arrived, they found 2 victims with gunshot wounds. Medics transported them to a nearby hospital, where the teenage girl died from her wounds. Nienhuis said Scavelli and her relative opened the door, and the 2 men allegedly opened fire. Scavelli was reportedly shot 4 times and sustained a fatal gunshot wound to the lower back, which U.S. Attorney Roger Handberg said was caused by her trying to run to safety during the barrage of gunfire. White allegedly reached out to 22-year-old Sheldon Robinson and offered to pay him $10,000 to kill Scavelli so she would not testify against him. Robinson reportedly posted on social media and asked for her help with a cleanup job. He allegedly recruited 21-year-old Kashawn Woods and offered to pay him $5,000 as well as give him cocaine. The 3 suspects face both state and federal custody. Hernando County jail records show White was booked February 8th for sexual assault, then released 3 days later. On February 15th, he was taken back into custody on the same charge and for resisting an officer. Woods was arrested February 9th for possession and intent to sell cannabis, and other drug-related charges. He was released February 24th, and Robinson was also arrested February 9th for cocaine trafficking and possession of a weapon by a convicted felon. The 3 men, along with Robinson's mother, now face federal charges, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Florida. A grand jury indicted White, Woods, and Robinson on charges of conspiracy to commit murder for hire, discharge of a firearm during and in relation to a crime of violence, and discharge of a firearm in furtherance of a violent crime. White and Robinson face additional charges of conspiracy to distribute controlled substances, tampering with a witness, and obstruction of justice. The 3 men are alleged to have attempted to hinder the investigation by disposing of evidence, tampering with witnesses, obstructing justice, and making false statements to law enforcement. Robinson's mother, Janet Williams, was charged with 3 counts of making false statements to federal agents. She was released in October and was placed under house arrest. Williams could face a maximum of 5 years in prison for each of the 3 counts. The U.S. Attorney's Office said Woods is now detained in federal custody, while the other 2 men remain in the Hernando County Jail. They will appear in court November 9th. According to WFLA-TV, Scavelli was a junior at Hernando High School and involved in different organizations at the school. The school district reportedly said in a statement she was described by her teachers as an energetic, kind, and joyful student. The 3 men could face life in prison or the death penalty if they are convicted. Yeah. Damn, just keep them in jail. Mind you, those are 3 grown-ass men. Just want to point that out there, that the person that committed the crime is, 32, 36 years old. That's a grown-ass man. And mind you, he reached out to a 22 and a 21-year-old. So now, not only is the grown-ass man going to jail, now the 22 and 21-year-olds are also going to be charged. And, they're already charged for all the other trafficking that they had done with, like, drugs and shit. So now they're going to add this charge to everything else, and they're going to be spending a whole lot of time in prison. And for the life of me, I do not know what is so appealing about prison or jail. I don't know. Chat, let me know if you have any idea, because a lot of people sure do like going to jail. I don't understand. But, oh well. Who am I to understand that? I can only speak of my own life, and it just doesn't, I just don't understand it at all. But nonetheless, let's watch abcactionnews.com. This is a Florida trio murdered teen to stop her testimony in sexual assault cases, DOJ says. And this is a short video from the Hernando County Sheriff's Office. Let's see if they have another video. They do not. We shall check this one out.
To the murder for hire plot that is now coming to light in Brooksville.
Now, the Department of Justice says today that 3 men face multiple charges for allegedly carrying out a contracted killing of a 17-year-old high school student. Detectives tell ABC Action News reporter Eric Waxler the men wanted to keep the teen from testifying against one of them.
When Isabella Scavelli was murdered back in February, people who knew the 17-year-old and her family were devastated.
Really quickly, this actually reminds me of a case that I remember reading about, and no, I did not read about that case. That chapter, I don't know if you've ever seen that content creator on YouTube. If you have not checked out that chapter's content, dude, I don't know what you're waiting for. He is probably one of the best true crime content creators on YouTube. He has amassed a huge following, and it's definitely worth watching the videos. You'll go down that rabbit hole. They are extremely interesting, and like his dynamic with how he presents the cases and whatnot. It's pretty cool, pretty interesting. I highly recommend. When I started true crime, this was before this channel was created and whatnot. Mid last year and whatnot, I reached out to him and I asked him if I could like review and react to his content, and he said yes, like no problem at all. And I never forgot that. I always thought that was pretty cool. So check out his content again. That's that chapter. If you're interested, let me know in chat. I will post the link to his YouTube, or if you just want to look it up yourself, that's that chapter. Interesting dude. But nonetheless, I remember seeing a case that he talks about on one of his videos, and it was about I guess he was like an ex-army, or he was like a vet and whatnot, but that person murdered like 4 or 5 people, and it was because one of the guys that was in the group and whatnot was going to testify against him of these horrendous crimes that he had committed, and he murdered him and two other witnesses to the crime that were going to testify against him in extremely brutal manner. Like, one of them was in a car. He like killed them and burned them. They completely murdered 2 of them in a house. Murdered 2 others in another house that had absolutely nothing to do with it, but were just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And again, why I talk about this specific case, it's because they were, again, witnesses that were most definitely going to be able to put that guy into jail for a very long time. And yeah, he just made it a whole lot worse for him, because not only did authorities and investigators discover that he had committed the crimes, also the crimes that he was being accused of, they were able to confirm that he really did do those crimes, and it was just a clusterfuck of just charges that were just like he was charged with a whole lot, and that just felt great to see. The link again of why I'm talking about this, why I'm talking about that case, repeat it one more time, is because that is what happened in this case. They killed her because she was pressing charges. She went to the police and reported sexual assault against her by she's 17, a 36-year-old man, I guess, and he had his feelings hurt because of it, because of course, and he decided that the best route to take was to kill her. Hired 2 people, and now they're all facing charges. Yikes.
It hurts so bad, because I can picture her face right now.
Now the Hernando County Sheriff's Office says they've charged those who they believe were involved in her death. They say Scavelli came to deputies February 6th to report she had been sexually battered by a man named Leonard White. Hernando Sheriff Al Nienhuis says the next day, 2 men came to Scavelli's house and shot her to death. A family member was also shot but survived. The sheriff says White paid Sheldon Robinson $10,000 to murder the girl, and then Robinson in turn asked for help online, offering cocaine and money for what he called a cleanup job.
And here's a social media picture that Robinson put out soliciting help with this particular murder.
Investigators say known gang member Keyshawn Woods took the offer, and he and Robinson opened fire when Scavelli opened the front door.
She was a good kid with a very bright future, and to see her life cut short is heart-wrenching, to say the least.
Prosecutors have not yet said if they'll ask for the death penalty in this case. The sheriff says he hopes this won't discourage others from coming forward to report crimes, and they want you to see the men's arrest photos in case you have more information that can help with the investigation.
These are obviously people that, if true, if convicted, they are not scared to use force to prevent prosecution, up to and including murder. So we're going to do everything we can to keep any witnesses that come forward safe.
In Brooksville, Eric Waxler, ABC Action News.
Yikes. All for coming forward. Man. I guess that's probably how he referred to himself as. Moving on. We're going to Arkansas. True Crime Daily. Title says, pair sentence for kidnapping Arkansas teen in an attempt to extort money from her family. Published November 3rd, 2023, and this is in Conway. A judge recently sentenced 2 individuals from Tennessee for kidnapping and threatening a 17-year-old girl in an attempt to extort money from her family in 2022. On Thursday, November 2nd, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Arkansas announced that the Honorable Chief Judge Susan Hickey sentenced 40-year-old Samuel Balling Jr. to life in prison and his co-defendant, 21-year-old Dela Ferrer, to 15 years in prison. According to the Hot Springs Police Department, on Tuesday, April 19th, 2022, shortly after 3:20 p.m., missing teen Trinity Case was found at 4737 Central Avenue. She sustained minor injuries and was transported to a local hospital. Police identified Balling and Ferrer as the primary suspects, and at approximately 5:52, officers located them at 4810 Central Avenue. They were arrested on charges of kidnapping, aggravated robbery, first-degree battery, and first-degree false imprisonment. Court documents from the attorney's office revealed that on April 18, 2022, Ferrer approached the victim in downtown Hot Springs, Arkansas, and asked for her help. The girl reportedly got into Ferrer's car, but then Balling suddenly attacked and held her down. The attorney's office said Balling and Ferrer contacted the girl's family and demanded $10,000 to let her go safely. WHBQ-TV reports that a co-worker tried to call Case, but no one answered, so she notified her mother, who also tried calling. After numerous tries, someone allegedly answered Case's mother's call and said everything is fine. A man reportedly answered the phone and threatened to cut the girl up if they didn't offer up the money. Balling and Ferrer kept the girl overnight before releasing her the next day. Wow. These people are out of their minds. It's pretty crazy. Like, what did you think was going to happen, though? Like, what did you think was going to happen? It also kind of smells like there's like meth involved in this case. There's some drugs, or lack of, and they were trying to get money for said drugs. I don't know. I'd say who am I to judge, but we can judge a little bit because, I mean, we just read this. It's horrible. Yikes. Okay, let's see. This is from April 20th, 2022. So we'll go back in time a bit. This is from fox13memphis.com. Is this a video? I don't think this is a video. This is an image. Wow, he's really red. It's like, whoa, holy shit. There's no video here, but I might need to use some sun lotion or something to protect the skin. Holy crap. No, I don't think they have a video for this case. Alright, moving on to the next one. Oh, wow. Yikes. Alright, we're going to Massachusetts. True Crime Daily. Title says, man allegedly flew to Kenya after killing Massachusetts woman whose body was found in airport garage. Published November 2nd, 2023. And this is in Boston. State police are searching for a suspect they believe flew to Kenya after allegedly killing a 31-year-old woman whose body was found in a garage at Boston Logan International Airport this week. According to a news release from Massachusetts State Police on Wednesday, November 1st, at approximately 6:30 p.m., troopers assigned to the Logan Airport barracks found 31-year-old Margaret Mbitu, deceased inside a vehicle that had been parked inside the central parking garage. Police learned Mbitu was reported missing Monday, October 30th. Further evidence suggested Mbitu was the victim of a homicide. According to an arrest warrant obtained by WCVB-TV, authorities found Mbitu with slash injuries along her face and neck. She also reportedly sustained a puncture wound on her side. Inside the vehicle, police reportedly noticed a large amount of blood as well. Mbitu, a nurse, was last seen leaving work in Halifax, according to WCVB. State police identified 40-year-old Kevin Kangeith as the primary suspect and said the homicide was not a random act. The suspect and victim were reportedly dating. Massachusetts State Police said Kangeith purchased an airplane ticket to Kenya and boarded a flight. The Suffolk County District Attorney's Office and Massachusetts State Police obtained a warrant for Kangeith's arrests and are working with Kenyan officials to locate and arrest him. Yeesh. You have Interpol behind you now, huh? Because obviously once this goes through the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, like with the state police and like this whole thing, Interpol's gonna get involved. That's international police and shit, and that's how they're gonna end up extraditing him back to the States. Well deserved. Definitely should be in jail. We're gonna check out WCVB.com's website and check out the video that is right above my head.
According to these court documents obtained by News Center 5, she was found in the passenger seat of her boyfriend's car, and, quote, there were large slash wounds observed to her face and neck area, and a puncture wound to her side. Today, police issuing this arrest warrant for her boyfriend, 40-year-old Kevin Kingathe. Former State Trooper Todd McGee says since the U.S. and Kenyans have friendly relations, extradition should be possible.
FBI will then work internationally with the authorities, try to bring this individual under arrest with the Kenyan authorities, their national police.
Happiness and joyous and loved people, and socially like to be, with family members and their friends.
Meantime, Maggie's cousin, remembering the nurse and Brockton High School graduate for always looking to help people. This proud Kenyan and Christian family keeping faith the person who killed her will be caught.
We want justice for Maggie, and we will not rest until that is done.
Now, it's unclear when exactly the victim was killed, but again, the suspect took off on Tuesday. Authorities both here and in Kenya are looking for him.
Get him. Also, ballsy. Did that at an airport. Crazy, especially like Boston Logan. There's so much traffic going on there. Unbelievable. I hope they find them and arrest them. We're going to Michigan. True Crime Daily. Listen to this title. Michigan man sentenced for killing his missing parents and leaving their bodies in a hunting area. Published November 2nd, 2023. And this is in Portage, Michigan. Now, a 30-year-old man must spend a minimum of 29 years in prison for killing his parents in 2021 and dumping their bodies in a wildlife area. WOOD-TV reports a Kalamazoo County judge sentenced Nicholas Johnson to 2 terms of 29 to 69 years behind bars, which will run concurrently in connection with the shooting deaths of his parents, Gary Johnson and Laura Johnson. Nicholas Johnson pleaded guilty in October to 2 counts of second-degree murder. Nicholas Johnson reportedly fatally shot his parents at their home in Portage, February 3rd, 2021. According to WOOD, Gary Johnson's employer reached out to law enforcement after Johnson failed to show up for work several days in a row, which was unlike him. In a news conference, February 11th, 2021, Portage Department of Public Safety Chief Nicholas Armold said it was clear there was some type of violent activity at the Johnsons' home. Armold told reporters investigators were going to remain optimistic that we're going to find the Johnsons, but said they were unaware it would likely turn into a homicide investigation. They were aware. According to WOOD, investigators found blood in several rooms of the house, as well as a 9mm shell casing in the garage. WWMT-TV reports the bodies of Gary and Laura Johnson were discovered February 12, 2021, at Gourd Neck State Game Area, a wildlife area used by hunters. Investigators located Nicholas Johnson in a storage unit with his mother's car, which had been missing from their home. Court documents cited by WWMT show the Johnsons filed a protective order against their son in March 2018, which read in part, "Gary and I are concerned for our safety and others' safety. I need him to stay away from us for a while and he needs to seek mental help." He reportedly assaulted his parents on multiple occasions. One time, he reportedly pushed his mother so hard that she fell and hit her head. His parents told him he could not return to their home. Laura Johnson said in the protective order that Nicholas previously pushed my husband and threatened us. She added, "He is now homeless. We are done with allowing him to keep destroying our house and property." WWMT reports Nicholas Johnson apologized at his sentencing hearing and said, "I want another chance. I won't ever hurt anyone else." He reportedly told the judge he felt terrible about what happened. According to the Portage Department of Public Safety, Nicholas Johnson is considered a person of interest in the May 2018 disappearance of Bonifacio Pena. No chance for you, but people deserve second chances. Sure. Under what circumstances? He killed his parents. And he's also now a person of interest in someone else's disappearance. Keep him in jail. Keep him in jail. There's no need to have this person roaming around us. I mean, who the hell knows how many like serial killers or potential serial killers or people have committed like horrendous crimes just like walk among us, and you have no idea. I read somewhere that there's an interesting piece of data that it says there's a high chance that at least once or twice in your life you walked across paths or walked in one direction and walking like a sidewalk or something, and a serial killer could have been the person that passed right by you, and you have no idea because you obviously don't know that person. But it's just crazy to think about that. It's very anxiety filled if you really go down that path, because you can apply that to any situation in life, because you don't really know who the hell is your neighbor or your family members. The fuck do you know your like parents' actual past? For all you know, you just know whatever information that they fed you up until this point. But how many people have found out crazy shit about their parents that have nothing to do with like true crime or anything like that? It's just like occurrences of life and shit, and yeah, never goes very well. There was no video here for this one. This is let's see, Son, person of interest. Let's see if they have a video for this. Anything news wise from woodtv.com has nothing but a picture of the outside of the home where Gary and Laura Johnson lived in Portage. Okay, this is from WWMT. Let's see if they have anything. Is it a video? Is it a video? That is blocked by a video blocker. Perfect. Well, at least you know it's a video. I'll refresh and we'll watch it. Again, WWMT.com. This is a news channel. I guess this is from Michigan. Doesn't necessarily say.
Update from court now. A Portage man who pleaded no contest to murdering and then burying his parents was just sentenced to up to 69 years in prison today.
And his October plea deal was for second-degree murder, which means he must serve a minimum sentence of 29 years before he's eligible for parole. Channel 3's Allie Jenner-John was in the courtroom today when the judge handed Johnson his sentence. And Allie, the judge, calling this crime callous and barbaric.
Yeah, the judge even saying that he's overseen well over 100 murder cases, and he calls Nick Johnson among the least deserving of leniency. Now, family and friends were able to give impact statements here in court today, all of them alluding to Nick's mental health issues, even saying that his parents feared him. Laura's cousin also making a statement saying that it was never if Nick was going to kill them, but when.
You're Nicholas Alexander Johnson. Yes.
Nick Johnson awaits his fate in a Kalamazoo County courtroom nearly 3 years after investigators say he killed and buried his parents.
Laura loved being a mother.
Cousins of his mother, Laura, giving impact statements, saying no matter how violent Nick got or how scared his parents became of him.
Laura would talk to me about Nick and her fears, but was hoping he would change. She more than once said, he still is my son.
Laura and her husband, Gary, were found buried in a wooded area at the Gordneck State Game Area in February 2021. 9 months later, their son was charged with open murder.
This heinous crime that was committed by your own blood is hard to comprehend. They tried to help you, Nick, any way they could. But many times you refused.
Nick looking straight ahead or down through most of the statements made today, smiling just slightly when hearing stories about his parents, and glancing over with tears in his eyes when prosecutor Jeff Williams referenced a full courtroom.
If he seems to be the same dangerous, self-serving, threatening person that he presents to the court today, I would ask that he be held in the Michigan Department of Corrections for the rest of his natural life.
Nick was given a chance to speak before his sentencing.
I'd really like to ask for someone to give me another chance, because I would not hurt anybody.
Apologizing multiple times before the judge asks him what he's sorry for.
That other people were inconvenienced by this.
His lack of remorse and lack of ownership of the crime ultimately playing a part in his sentencing.
Also, he tried to, I feel like, use like the fact that he has some type of like mental health situation going on. You could tell like with his hair and the shit. But if you see this picture, like he doesn't necessarily look like that. I'm not saying he looks like a prize in this picture, but if you compare it to how he looks here, I mean, you can kind of tell that, in my opinion, this was done intentionally to give the allure of there being, you know, mental health issues so that he could potentially get a lower sentencing and whatnot. Listen, you could argue it or not. Let me know in chat what you think, but the truth of the matter is, I mean, would you really put it past someone? How many cases have you not heard up until this point about people pleading insanity and shit, and you know damn well, or the evidence shows that it was premeditated and they knew exactly what they were doing. You know, there's still a lot that's, you know, coming to light with this case, but it kind of seems like he did this shit on purpose. This act that he has going on here, it's not gonna work. It's not working, bud. At least not with me. Let me know in chat if it works with you, but for me, it's not working.
Lack of remorse and lack of ownership of the crime ultimately playing a part in his sentencing. And again, he was sentenced to 29 to 69 years in prison. That means he will be eligible for parole once he serves those 29 years. Although the judge says in court today that almost no one in our state is released on parole after serving their minimum. The judge did go on record saying he does not recommend it for Nick. Live in Kalamazoo County, Ali Jenner-John.
Damn. You know, a lot of states are actually, or a lot of judges too, they're very family oriented and whatnot, and that also plays, juries as well, that also plays a lot into, you know, the dynamics of the case. And unfortunately for this monster, you know, it struck a nerve in a lot of the jury that were deciding on his case, and apparently the judge didn't like him either. We will do 3 more, and well, actually 2 more, because we already one of these. So 2 more, which is this top one here, and then this one here, and then we will jump into watching some TikTok videos, and we will end the live stream after that. I am thinking it would be a good inclusion to the live streams to just also check out other content creators as well, and we can gather a lot more information like that. And we know about what's happening all across the states right now with these cases, you know, who's being sentenced or things that are happening. Obviously, these are not all the cases, but it's a good chunk of them. We've read through a good number, at least 10 or 12 at this point. You can go on TikTok and watch some true crime videos, and it'll level it out. There's a great news videos there as well that we'll review and react to together. So it'll be fun. So we'll go through these 2, and we'll move on to that segment and the live stream. Like I said, I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. If you are still watching me, if you're lurking, drop a follow. If you're watching me on Twitch, if you're watching me on Facebook, same. Drop a follow. Thank you so much. You can hear my cat meowing. If you're watching me on YouTube, thank you very much. Like my videos, comment on them. Let me know what you think. Like this live stream as well. That helps out a lot. That way you can, the algorithm does its thing with the live stream and it reaches a lot more people. And just remember, I always like to mention this, time is very precious, and the fact that you're spending even 1 second of your time here with me, it means the world. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Follow me on TikTok as well. I'm going to be going live there this week. Yeah, I have some plans. I might move some things around. I might change things too. I've been thinking about it a lot, and it's like, I might move the format of True Crime Daily to TikTok, which is a lot easier, and maybe just do these live streams with other ideas that I have. But once I open that Discord, I create it and I post it on YouTube. I'll have it as a post. That's why follow me, so that you can be able to subscribe to my channel, so you can be able to see said post, or you can subscribe to my Patreon for $1 a month, and I will post it there as well. I'll post it there first. That Discord will be linked to that Patreon for True Crime, and yeah, you'll be able to support me, and at the same time you'll be able to join that Discord as well. That's going to be exclusively for like true crime stuff and horror and cults and all that weird stuff. No conspiracy theories. That's the only thing. Keep me out of that. I don't like conspiracy theories, but I do like the occult and like weird shit and like facts and documentaries and myths and shit, and I love it all. And of course, if it involves horror, I love it even more. So I'll let you know about that Discord on YouTube, and if you're on Patreon, and I appreciate your support, you'll see the post there first. So thank you very much. Just wanted to really quickly let you guys know about that, and let's go ahead and read these last two cases, watch some videos if they're available, and then we will move on to the TikTok part of the live stream. Hopefully we'll get TikTok videos that don't have copyright music. That way we can watch them and enjoy them. But yeah, knowing a lot of the content creators, including myself on TikTok, sometimes we do use copyright music, and that will suck because I try to keep this non-copyright, but it's hard. That's neither here nor there. We're going to Charleston. True Crime Daily. Title says, 2 plead guilty to luring Tinder date to woman's home and fatally shooting him. Published November 2nd, 2023. And this is in North Charleston. And it says, a 23-year-old woman and a 30-year-old man were sentenced to several decades in prison for luring a Tinder date to the woman's house and killing him. According to the Charleston Post and Courier, Asheray Gadsden and Joshua Mack received the sentences after pleading guilty to murder and attempted armed robbery for killing Alan Johnson on January 8, 2022. Court records show Gadsden was sentenced to 30 years behind bars with 375 days credit for time served, while a judge sentenced Mack to 38 years with 612 days credit. On January 9th, 2022, North Charleston Police Department officers were called to a home on Suzanne Drive regarding a medical issue. Upon arrival, police located a male suffering from gunshot wounds, and he was pronounced deceased at the scene. The Charleston Post and Courier reports Johnson and Gadsden went on a date the night of January 8th, 2022. After dinner and drinks, they returned to Gadsden's apartment. Gadsden went into another room, and while there, Mack appeared and tried to rob Johnson. Mack reportedly told authorities Johnson fired the gun. Gadsden reportedly did not call police until an hour after Johnson died. Johnson, 24, reportedly had recently graduated from college with a 4.0 GPA and received scholarships and honors for his education. He reportedly planned to attend a graduate school to become a teacher, which was his lifelong dream. I'm sorry about that. Damn. Check out the Post and Courier. They're going to charge me for this, right? Yeah, of course they are. You have detected. Let's see. This was the media release. Oh, this is the media release on Facebook. Same information. Doesn't really have anything new. Reminds me of the case we read. It's probably like a month ago, and it was a man that rented an Airbnb and ended up tying the Airbnb host and like torturing him and shit. I have the video posted on my YouTube, so definitely check it out. And pretty sad. That happens a lot. It's a lot more common than what you think. Not a huge fan of like Airbnb and whatnot, but this is horrible. Kind of makes you not want to have it. If this is going to be the case that they're going to, assault you, or in this case, kill you. Tinder, if you don't know, is a dating app. You meet people and whatnot. I personally have been off the market for well over 15 years. But I keep up to date with information on technology and whatnot, so I'm not lost as to what like the different dating apps that people have used all across the time that I've been married. What is it? Like Match.com and whatnot. Tinder is the equivalent, but it's an app. I believe there's one for the LGBTQIA plus community, which is like Grindr, I believe. I think there's another one as well. I have a lot of like gay and lesbian friends, and they keep me updated with the apps that they use on that end. So, yeah, I have more than enough information to be able to pass on to my wife and I, so that we're always up to date with the new tendencies. Hey, we're getting old, bro. That's one of the things that you do when you start getting old. You have to keep up with all the new shit. Plus, there's like a whole bunch of cases that we've seen that have involved Tinder one way or another. That's not necessarily like in this case that they lured someone through Tinder and did something to them, but the app was involved in it somehow, or like they had met through there and shit. So yeah. Moving on. We'll read the last case of the night. We are going to Georgia. It says a Georgia couple sentenced 2 years after toddler in their care dies from traumatic brain injury. True Crime Daily, published November 2nd, 2023. And this is in Hall County. And it says, a 33-year-old man and his 34-year-old wife were sentenced to several years in prison after a 2-year-old girl they were babysitting died from a traumatic brain injury. Hall County court records show Juan Martinez was sentenced to 29 years in prison with 1 year of probation after he entered an Alfred plea to second-degree murder. His wife, Nancy Martinez, received 8 years behind bars with 2 years of probation for cruelty to a child. Both Juan and Nancy Martinez were initially charged with murder, first-degree cruelty to a child, and second-degree cruelty to a child. On October 10th, 2021, Hall County Fire Services responded to the 2000 block of Burnett Circle and transported Valeria Jordan Gadfias to the Northeast Georgia Medical Center. She was later flown to Children's Health Care of Atlanta for additional treatment, but she died from her injuries. Deputies spoke with Juan Martinez and Nancy Martinez about the girl's death and arrested them the next day. The Hall County Sheriff's Office said the married couple caused traumatic brain injury and other internal injuries to the child's body, resulting in her eventual death. Juan and Nancy Martinez were babysitting the little girl at the time of her death. Law and Crime reports Juan Martinez got mad at Gadfias because she defecated on a chair. As a result, he reportedly hit her several times. Nancy Martinez was reportedly at work when he struck the girl, but she was implicated because she supposedly did not tell officials the truth about how Gadfias died. Assistant District Attorney Jennifer Bagwell reportedly said in court Juan Martinez was angry because Valeria wet her diaper and poop came out on the chair at the table, and that she was supposed to let them know when she had to go potty. At the sentencing hearing, Judge Jason Deal reportedly told the Martinezes, "In this case, I'm faced with the facts that a child less than 3 years old was beat to death while she was in the care of the two defendants. And when the defendants were confronted with that fact, Ms. Martinez chose Mr. Martinez over this child, and Mr. Martinez chose to be less than truthful, which they both had a right to do." He continued, "But they claimed that this was for their child, that they loved this child, that this child called them mother and father. Yet when she died, they chose to lie. Yet when she died, they chose to lie." Wow, Parents of the Year, huh? If you don't follow Law and Crime on YouTube, definitely follow them if you're a true crime fan. They post, court proceedings. They talk in depth about like different type of cases that are happening, and they show like the videos of what's happening in court and shit, and follow them on YouTube. But the child was less than 3 years old. Yeah, dude, got poop on the chair, man. That's what's up. That's what happens when you have a child, man. That's what it happens. It's a child. It's a kid. Like, what do you expect it to do? Man, whenever it's about like children and whatnot, and it's with these horrible parents, it's, goddamn, dude, you had the choice to not have kids. You could have just easily not had them, and you would have avoided all this. But no, these parents, they think that they're so fit to having these kids, and they're just like fucking degenerate, and they beat the child to death because the child pooped in a diaper. A natural thing that the body does, that as a parent, they have to be more aware of that, because that's their child. You're the parent, dude. You're the adult. Isn't that the whole point? So you're really expecting a child that's less than 3 years old to be on point with every single time that they're going to go to the bathroom? To tell you, like, I have to go potty. Every single time? Have you not had, like, or tried to have a conversation with a 2-year-old? It's so crazy, dude. And some people are like this, and they treat like their kids like crap and have them in these really bad conditions, and they just continuously reproduce. Isn't that something, huh? It's crazy. All right. Hoping for the worst for these people. Hope they are kept in jail for a very long time. Remember that case we read a few weeks ago? Well, actually, it's like 2 months ago at this point, 2 or 3 months ago. I've mentioned it again in other episodes when we read about cases of very horrible parents like this. That House of Horrors, I have that video posted on YouTube as well. But they had their kids living in this terrible condition, and they had like feces on the wall and shit. It was like the house was filled with junk and shit and urine, and the kids were like filled with blood. It was like the title of the article was something out of a horror movie. These people keep reproducing, and they have more and more kids, and it's just continuing on with this crap and putting these kids under these horrible circumstances. Wow. All right. Hopefully this week I will be able to go live again, and we'll read a few of these other more that are down here. I'm tempted to click on load more, but I want to go to the last segment of the show when we check out the TikTok videos. Plus, I gotta get ready for like work tomorrow, because tomorrow's a work day. It is Monday. Do have a few because it is holiday season, so there's like a few great holidays that are coming that will extend time off from work, and that is great. Be able to chill at home, play some video games, go live, spend some time here with you, be on that Discord, and spend time with wifey. That's what's up. But nonetheless, we're going to move on to the last part of the show. I'll close here. And what we'll do is, sorry, you'll probably hear like my wife in the background. I'm gonna switch over this window capture, and we will go into oh, there we go. TikTok. Cool. I'll write in the search bar true crime, and then we'll just watch, like, we'll do hashtag true crime. This is my true crime page on TikTok. Obviously, you can see I have 1,027 followers. Going live soon. But follow me here. I'd love to hear your opinion on my videos. These are all just like the reading portion that I clip from the live streams. So yeah, check it out. Follow me here. And we'll go into hashtag true crime, and we will watch a few of these videos that are here. If they're parts, I'll try to find part 1, but hopefully we'll just see some that are just off the bat, like the video. And of course, I'll repeat it one more time. If it has copyright music, I'm not going to play it. So it's not going to happen. I will also be saying the of whichever content creator that we'll be watching, credit them. And if you are interested in whatever video we're watching, let me know, and I will write in chat the content creator's handle so that you can follow them there, because that's the name of the game. That's what we're going to do. You know, credit where credit is due at all given moment. So I wouldn't want anyone like stealing my shit and whatnot. Yeah, so we'll watch this first one. Maybe not tops. Maybe we'll go through videos that we will give other content creators a chance as well. This is Crimecast. These are weird videos, but actually, you know what? We'll go to the top.
What did the youngest person on the FBI's most wanted list do to earn his spot? At just 24 years old, Alejandro Rosales Castillo has the distinction of currently being the youngest person on the FBI's most wanted list. In August 2016, a then 17-year-old Castillo worked at Shomar's restaurant in Charlotte, North Carolina. One of his co-workers was 23-year-old Sandy Lee, who Alejandro had reportedly dated.
This is at Sinister Samantha. At Sinister Samantha. That's the handle.
For a brief time. Supposedly, he'd lent her money, but she never repaid him. Alejandro was now dating another co-worker, 19-year-old Amia Feaster. On August 9th, Alejandro decided he finally wanted the money that Sandy owed him, and the two agreed to meet at a local convenience store. It's believed that instead of just demanding his money back, Alejandro forced Sandy at gunpoint to withdraw her entire account savings. It is then believed that Alejandro drove to a nearby wooded area and took Sandy's life, disposing of her body before fleeing with Amia. The pair fled to the Arizona-Mexico border, where they successfully made their way across. This CCTV footage is the last known sighting of Alejandro since he crossed the border. The following October, Amia turned herself in. To this day, Alejandro has never been seen. What did they do? A massive search is underway for a father of 4 accused.
Starting the video over, and this is at Crimecast. At crime_cast.
A massive search is underway for a father of 4 accused of killing his wife. On Sunday morning around 9 a.m., Breezy and Aaron Pennington's 4 kids showed up at their neighbor's house in Gardner, Massachusetts. At ages 2, 5, 7, and 9, they were reportedly scared because they couldn't find their father and their mother was crying in her bedroom. As we know, police were at the scene in 5 minutes, but tragically it was too late. They went upstairs and found that Breezy wasn't crying anymore. The 30-year-old was pronounced deceased from a gunshot wound to the face at 9:30 a.m. Now, as confirmed by surveillance footage, Aaron had actually left the house that morning at 8:50. And then on Monday night, his unoccupied BMW was found in the woods of a Boy Scout camp 4 miles away. In what is now a manhunt, police say they are searching all of 400 acres to find Aaron. And that he has a military background, spent the past 7 years in active service, and knows how to survive in these woods. Aside from that, court documents have revealed that Breezy had been saving up money to leave Aaron and move to Texas with their kids. Her sister says that on the outside, he's a very nice person, but has been struggling with mental health issues that just kept getting worse. He also didn't have a license to carry a gun in Massachusetts, but Breezy reportedly kept one for her own safety. Today, the Pennington's kids remain under custody of the state, with police asking anyone who sees Aaron to not approach him, but immediately call 911. Breezy was, quote, the funniest person. She had the best/worst dark humor. She loved true crime and, most importantly, her babies. She brought light to everyone that knew her, cheered for everyone, and made motherhood seem effortless.
Crazy. It's currently happening right now. And the fact that he has military background, yeah, dude, that just kind of elevates that worry, because he is equipped to survive. There's no lie in anything she said there. Damn, shot her right in the face. That is crazy. I'm telling you, have to grow some thick skin when it comes to hearing all these true crime cases and whatnot, because, wow, just think about it. I remember seeing that the lady that survived the shotgun blast to her face, and she had to have, like, her face reconstructed. She's still alive. And I think the last I checked, she'd gone through her, like, 10th one or something. Crazy, man. That's insane. Again, this is at crime_cast. We'll move on to the next video. This is Charlie Born True Crime. So it's at Charlie Born True Crime. Check out this video.
This teacher is accused of adding a student on Snapchat and sending him something shocking. You won't believe what happened next. Ricky Lynn Lachlan is a 24-year-old teacher from Missouri. Police received a tip-off about an alleged inappropriate relationship between the teacher and a student. The student was just 16 years old, and Ricky allegedly sent extremely inappropriate videos and pictures of herself to the child. It's alleged that the behavior then escalated to another level. She is accused of inviting the child to her home while her husband was away, but the child declined. The boy in question was interviewed by police and apparently stated that the teacher had added him on Snapchat.
The more she, sorry for pausing it, the more she talks about the case, and her picture's like right there. I swear to you, she just keeps getting uglier. And I don't know if it's like an effect. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my own head that's doing this. But just while she's saying all this, just keep looking at this person's face. It looks like it's... the worse it gets, the worse the face gets. I don't know, man. It's just me. Let me know in chat if you guys can see it.
She then allegedly sent nude photos and videos to him. The boy told police that she requested photos back and he obliged. He stated that Ricky had warned him that she could go to prison for the actions, so to delete any photos and videos he had of her. Ricky claims that it was the student that began the conversation and that she had not been aware that he was a minor. Police seized her phone and found a video on there that matched the description of the video that the child had described. Ricky has since been arrested and charged with 6 felony S crimes. This teacher is accused of
Keep her in jail. Fuck it. It's a quick reminder that it is still rape and it's like pedophilia. I understand, you know, I grew up during the time when it was like, oh yeah, like the teacher and shit, Miss Robinson, and I get it. But the reality of the case is, you know, grounded in planet Earth, is that, yeah, dude, that's a fucking felony. I mean, we literally read a case of that 75-year-old that did this in a very extremely worse manner with a minor. And yeah, she got 693 years, reduced to 10 because I guess she's only 75. I don't know, man. I'm telling you, sometimes the judicial system, it just sucks. It's crazy. I don't know, but yeah, this is it's still a crime. I get it. Guys want to be like, come on, you know, like it's a fucking crime. Though they deserve to go to prison just as much as if it's a man that's doing it. Same. There should be no distinction between. So just want to put that out there because, again, I come from the time you know, when that was a thing, and guys, and, you know, growing up, and the teacher. But yeah, man, one thing is like having a crush on that hot teacher, and this literally a felony crime. Nah, I'm good. I don't have kids, but I will tell you one thing: if this were to happen to my nephew, you know, it's not enough to say that, you know, if it would happen to my niece, you know, that shit would, I'd raise fucking hell. But, you know, I'd raise equal hell if it would happen to my nephew. Just want to put that out there. It is still a crime. I don't know who needs to hear this, but it is still a crime. Again, this was at Charlie Bourne True Crime. This is all from TikTok. You can follow these accounts on TikTok. Just look for them. If you want to know which one, if you want like a specific handle, just let me know, and I will post it on chat. Let's move on to the next one.
If you're
This is at True Crime Cam. At True Crime Cam.
If you're rich, you can do whatever you want. Like
I'm going to repeat it just so that the people in the back can hear this, because I kind of figured where this... I actually heard about this case. This is extremely recent. This was about, like... Comments are coming on, like, 5-6 days ago. This was last week. Check this out.
If you're rich, you can do whatever you want. Like post bail after allegedly murdering 4 young women. This is 22-year-old Fraser Boehm of Malibu. On October 17th, he drove his 2016 red BMW to pick up tacos. On the way back, he claimed he was involved in a road rage incident, and that a car began chasing him and trying to run him off the road. Investigators have said that there is no evidence of this. Fraser is driving westbound on the PCH where the speed limit is 45 miles per hour, which is apparently about 3 miles away from where the road rage incident occurred. Prosecutors allege that Fraser hit speeds up to 104 miles per hour when he suddenly lost control of the vehicle on Dead Man's Curve and slammed into at least 3 vehicles parked on the side of the road shortly before 9 p.m. 4 Pepperdine students that were standing/walking in between these vehicles were instantly killed. 21-year-olds Asha Weir, Deslyn Williams, Peyton Stewart, and Neve Ralston. All 4 girls were seniors and sorority sisters at Pepperdine. Some witnesses claimed that Fraser immediately tried to flee the scene, and that he ultimately had to be tackled by Sigma Chi fraternity members who watched this fatal collision. Fraser was arrested and initially charged with vehicular manslaughter with gross negligence, but authorities released him the following day so that they could investigate further. Fraser was rearrested on Tuesday and charged with 4 counts of murder and 4 counts of gross vehicular manslaughter. The following day, he pleaded not guilty and his bond was set at $8 million. The judge reduced that bail to $4 million. This past Friday, Fraser was able to post that bail, which would be around $400,000 cash, and he's now free until the conclusion of his trial. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for December 15th.
Crazy, huh? Damn. This is America, huh? My man paid $400,000 cash. Posted bail. Damn. 4 women killed in one accident. And he was able to post bail and he's out free right now. Probably partying. That is very, very sad. Someone mentions here Ethan Couch. I think I do remember that case. Happened a while ago. Same situation, sort of. There's a pretty famous true crime case that's going on right now with that really rich family that it was discovered that they had killed like 2 or 3 people, and that became like the whole thing. Chad, if you know the name, let me know. It starts with an M. I'm having a sort of a brain fart right now, and I'm not remembering, but yeah, she said it very well at the beginning of the video. When you have money, you're able to get away with murder. The amount of money you have correlates directly with how much justice will be inflicted upon you. That is no lie. And it's a very sad world we live in, that is the reality of it. And that, yeah, If you got money, you can get away with anything. Isn't that something, huh? Isn't that something? But this same situation anywhere else under any other circumstance, and that person would have probably been charged with that vehicular manslaughter and probably given a few years in jail and probation as well. Yeah, this dude is going out starch free. Nothing happened to him. Nothing but net. Yikes. Mind you, happens all the time. Happens all the time. Off the top of my head, Christopher Walken, that whole thing, that the boat situation that happened back in the 60s or 70s, was it the 80s? It was something. It happened a very long time ago. Famous actress, she drowned and she died. She was afraid of water. How the hell did it happen? To this day, that has been just something that has been kept up in the blue. No one knows. People just shrug their shoulders. If that same situation would have been under a different circumstance, there would have probably been some sort of conclusion to it, some closure. But it's kept up in the air because nothing ever happened after that point because people have a lot of money. That's where we are in the world. Moving on to the next one. True Crime Cam. You can follow this person on TikTok.
Imagine
same person. Charlie Bourne, True Crime. Let's watch this video.
being held captive in a basement, and when police arrive you think you're free. You call out for help, but they leave you there to be killed. In the 1980s, girls in Belgium started vanishing. The local community in Brussels was understandably unsettled. They had no idea a monster was living among them. Marc Dutroux was reportedly abused as a child. When he became an adult, he turned to a life of crime. He was involved in substance dealing and selling stolen cars. He married early and had 2 sons, but he had many affairs and started abusing his wife. They separated and he married his second wife, Michelle Martin. The pair would go on to do the unthinkable. In 1985, the couple had a disturbing hobby. They would kidnap and women. A friend of the couple called Jean also helped them. Marc had managed to convince him that he owed him a favour. On June the 7th, 1985, they took their first victim. This was 11-year-old Sylvie D, who had been walking home.
Damn.
Men jumped out of the car and grabbed her and kidnapped her, and when they got her home, they AR'd her. They took a Polaroid picture of her before setting her free. They took many more victims before eventually being caught by police. The girls that were set free went to police and provided them with information to make the arrest. Marc, Michelle, and Jean were imprisoned for a short time. Marc, however, managed to manipulate the prison officials into thinking he was disabled, so he got many benefits. He was also able to state that he couldn't sleep and got prescribed some sleeping tablets, which he would go on to use for a sinister purpose.
Oh boy.
Marc was released in 1992 after serving just 3 years in prison. This time he learned a lesson: to set no more of his victims free. He built a dungeon in his basement for his next victims. Between 95 and 96, he would kidnap at least 6 children. He kept them in his basement, tortured them and SA'd them, and used the sleeping tablets to sedate them. It was at this point that news was circulating in the area of the missing children. 2 8-year-olds had vanished, and later that year 2 teenagers too. It was clear that this was no coincidence. Shockingly, despite Marc's own mother ringing police and reporting him, it would take 5 months for police to go to his house. Marc's mum even told them he was keeping girls captive. Marc was arrested during this period for stealing a car. He spent 4 months in prison while 2 of his victims remained in the basement. Michelle knew about these girls, and Marc had told her it was her job to feed them and water them while he was in prison. Frustratingly, although police finally searched his house at this point, despite hearing children's voices, the police just left. They said it sounded like the voices were coming from outside. They even found undeveloped camera film, which, had they just developed the film, they would have seen the basement in these images. Marc had documented the process of building the dungeon via the camera. Tragically, due to Michelle stating that she was too frightened to go down into the basement, the girls died of starvation. When Marc was released, more girls started vanishing. This included 12-year-old Sabine Dardine and 14-year-old Letitia Delhi. Mark was finally arrested after an eyewitness recognized his van involved in an abduction. He confessed and showed police his dungeon. He also led police to where he'd buried 2 of his child victims alive. It also transpired that he'd had an accomplice called Bernard Weinstein. After the pair had a disagreement, Mark also buried him alive.
Damn.
There was
Wow.
public outrage at the mishandling of the case. There
Hell
were
yeah.
protests on the street, and there was even claims of a wider P-ring. The 2 brave survivors, Sabine and Letitia, testified in court against Mark. They recalled being chained to a bed and repeatedly AR'd. Michelle was given 30 years in prison, and Mark got life.
Holy shit. Damn, she did not lie when she said that it was going to take a turn for the worse when by giving him those sleeping tablets. How many countless times we've seen cases where law enforcement doesn't do their job properly? Why didn't they search that house? Why did it take them 5 months to go? That's crazy. Like, who knows, those girls would have been able to survive. 2 of them died of starvation. That's it's crazy. I think that the few times I've ever seen, and mind you, this is from a movie, but Seven, the movie Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. Well, one of the sins is it's not gluttony, but I forgot which one it is, and it's the guy that is chained to the bed and he's like, starving, and that image has always like stuck in my head. And whenever we hear cases where something like that is mentioned, like my brain just like automatically goes to that scene. And holy shit, that's just the thought of a human being going through something like that is pretty fucking gut wrenching. And not only did they do all this willingly, but god damn, dude, the cops did not do their jobs properly. That sucks. They shorten words on TikTok videos when it comes to like sexual assault or like rape and stuff like that. You can't say it on TikTok. I don't know why, but you can't say it because just as much as there are people that could say it in a negative light, there's news people that make news reports and stuff like that they have to say it because it's part of what's going on, and you know, information should be clear, and it's, you know, can't really give clear information if you have to shorten words like this, or you have to omit words because you can't say it because TikTok doesn't like it. You get your video taken down, or like get community guidelines on like violations on your videos and shit. I've had a few of them already, and I read things like I don't even show anything, and it's because on the title before the video started on TikTok, I have like the title of the video, whatever case that I'll read and whatnot. And yeah, apparently TikTok has an AI that goes through texts and stuff, and it'll show like it just bans videos that have certain words and whatnot. So I had to learn the hard way. Yeah. That's why they do this. So if you hear like SA or ARD or P, that's like P is like pedophiles. Like I mentioned, SA is sexual assault. ARD is raped. So, yeah, just wanted to want us all to be on the same page. Charlie Born True Crime. Let's move on to the next video. Hopefully we get like another content creator. If we get any of the ones that we already saw, I'm just gonna skip it and we'll move on to someone that we have not seen.
911. What is your emergency?
Okay, this is a Crime Wave 911, and these are, I guess this is a disturbing 911 call. So, trigger warning. 3, 2, 1. We'll start this video.
911. What is your emergency?
Yes, sir. I need an ambulance to come to my house.
What's your address, ma'am?
On Gardner Road, Brunswick, Georgia, 31523.
Just a moment. What's the problem now?
I just killed my 2 kids.
Oh, shit.
What's your name, ma'am?
Julia Murray.
What is it?
Julia Murray.
And you said you killed your 2 kids?
Yes, sir.
How
Oh
old
my
are they?
goodness.
2 and 4.
How did you kill them?
I drowned them.
Julia, are you with me?
No, I myself.
Oh my god.
You just yourself.
Yes,
With what?
a gun.
Okay.
Please hurry.
Okay, I got them on the way, Julia. I'm just trying to keep you online with me until they get there. Is that okay? Will you talk to me? Julia. Julia, can you hear us? Is your door open? Will we be able to get in? I want one.
I mean, it says disturbing 911 call right on top there. I should have heeded that warning. I did say trigger warning before the video started, but wow, that really took me by surprise. Holy shit. Okay. Okay. This is not gonna actually tell me anything. So it says Julia Murray. Oh. Okay. This is old though. This happened back in 2010. It says police. Glynn County woman drowns daughter, tries to drown son, then kills herself. The son was the only one that survived. It was this was February 16th, 2010. So this was 13 years ago. Wow, it was updated February 22nd, 2023. So I guess there's some information, some update. Wow, this is in Brunswick. Julia Murray was calm. Her voice was matter of fact, almost a monotone, as she told a 911 operator, "I just killed my 2 kids," which was the call that we just heard right now. Disbelieving his voice, the operator asked Murray to repeat what she said about killing them. She said, "I drowned them. They are 2 and 4. Those were the ages when she mentioned it. She said that she had just shot herself with a gun. It was the first time she had broken from the composed, deliberate manner in which she had meticulously given her name, address, and telephone number at the beginning of the emergency call at 9:50 a.m. on Tuesday. Those were the last words Murray is heard to speak during the nearly 2-minute call that she made shortly after drowning her daughter, Ansley, age 4, and nearly drowning her son, Creighton, age 2, at the family's Baumgardner Road home. Glynn County police officers found Murray lying mortally wounded near a .357 Magnum revolver in one room, and the still wet bodies of her son and daughter in their bedroom, said County Police Chief Matt Doring. Ansley and Creighton were lying next to each other in one bed as if they had been tucked in for the night. There were no visible signs of injuries other than those indicating drowning, Police Captain Marissa Tyndale told the Times-Union. Wow. Creighton was still breathing, but his sister was not. Mother and children were taken to the Southeast Georgia Health System's Brunswick Hospital, Doring said. Ansley died at 10:44 a.m. and her mother died at 11:57 a.m., County Coroner Jimmy Durden said. Creighton was in stable condition and is expected to recover, Tyndale said. He might be well enough to be released Wednesday. Murray had a close-range gunshot wound to the upper left side of her chest, authorities said. Wow. As the 911 call ends, because this one that we heard just only gets to a certain point, Murray's moans trail off into silence. Then a police officer can be heard in the background rushing into the room where she is unconscious and unresponsive. At this point, we don't know why she did it. Damn. Someone mentioned in the comment section here that it could be a postpartum psychosis. Wow, this is extremely chilling. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Wow. Oh, okay. This is a Tea and True Crime with Bella. Tea and True Crime with Bella. Footage of Chris Watts in prison. Someone paid to have him attacked. Listen, let me tell you something. About this monster. If you don't know who Chris Watts is, Chris Watts killed his whole family to try to be with his lover. His wife her name was Shanann. Horrible case. It's one of the worst cases out there. Monster. Can you explain to me why this monster gets bags and bags of love letters of women and men professing their love to him and how much they love him and how much they want to be with him and how much he means to them? There's countless documentaries and footage and evidence that clearly shows that he did this crime. Clearly points to him. And yet, dude, people go willingly to want to be with this absolute heinous, despicable monster. Because if you don't have the answer, I surely don't. This shit is beyond me. So, you know what? I might enjoy this a little bit. You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. Me, Angel, I'm not gonna lie to you. Because I'm gonna enjoy this video. Okay, I'm pausing the music. But why would you put this music? Is that really him? I don't know, but it kind of doesn't look like him. This isn't real. This isn't real. No, this isn't real. I've seen this video before. That's not him. Nah. No, I've seen this video before. That could be him. That dude there, but I don't know. I feel like I've seen this before, and I don't think this has anything to do with him. This video is old. This is something else. This. Tea and True Crime with Bella. This ain't it.
Moment, a jealous man led his estranged wife to her brutal
This is ITV News. At ITV News.
death. Paweł Chmielewski later killed his wife Marta, stabbing her more than 30 times.
Holy
Following
shit.
the murder, he stayed with her body in his rented room in Northamptonshire for 4 days, only leaving to buy beers from a local shop. So why did he kill her? Police say Chmielewski had failed to accept his marriage was over after Marta had started dating a work colleague. He'd kept contacting her despite her keeping her distance and telling him it was over. Police were alerted to the danger after a family member got an unusual text from Marta. They said it didn't sound like her. She went round to Chmielewski's flat but got no answer, so she called 999. Officers knocked on the door of the rented room to find 40-year-old Chmielewski with a knife protruding out of his neck, laying next to his dead wife on the floor. He was sent to hospital for treatment and later arrested for the murder. Chmielewski initially refused to comment before confessing in court. He was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison.
Damn. Keep him in there. Holy shit. Alright, this is ITV News. Let's move on to the next
Imagine
one.
going on a...
Okay, we already saw it.
Imagine getting...
Okay, this is It's Heidi Wong at It's Heidi Wong.
Imagine going on...
Imagine getting arrested for having a child with a dead body. Jennifer Burrows is a 26-year-old who was working at a morgue when she was arrested after a DNA test proved her child's father was a dead body she was supposed to autopsy. But it actually gets worse from here, because while Jennifer was working as an assistant pathologist at the morgue, she had relations with more than 60 bodies, belonging to men aged 17 to 71 years old. She did this for 2 years until it led to the birth of her son. Her son's father was a 57-year-old veterinarian from Texas who passed away in a car accident in 2017. Jennifer was charged with 158 counts of indecent treatment of a corpse. Many psychologists and experts have debated why someone would do this. The reasons range from curiosity to severe mental illness. Some even believe Jennifer was suffering from psychosis. Alright, after all that, I don't really know how to end this video, so stay safe out there and follow for more.
What? Wow. Yeah. Yeah, she was banging corpses. Holy shit. How does that even physically happen? Yeah, someone commented here. How does that happen? Like, how? How is it possible? Wow, that is so disgusting. All right, moving on.
The scene of one of the most notorious crimes of the 1990s is for sale in Boulder, Colorado.
All right, this is a little catastrophes. Oh shit. Okay, it's the John Benet Ramsey case. Oh, so this is a John Benet Ramsey house. Damn, they're selling it for $6 million. 5 beds, 8 baths. Does it still have the basement? Bruh. You want to know what the worst part is about everything? That they're going to buy it. Someone's going to buy the house. Someone's going to buy the house just because it's where the Ramsey family lived, and the whole John Benet Ramsey case happened. If you don't know this case, it's probably one of the most famous true crime cases. There's thousands of videos on YouTube that you can find about this case, including one of mine too as well. I think it's still there. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. If you don't know this case, this is John Benet Ramsey. She was found in the basement of her home one day. Her family was upstairs. It was during Christmas, and there was just a whole bunch of conspiracy theories that came from that finding, and to this day, no one has ever been charged for her murder. There's plenty of theories, like I mentioned. There's evidence that comes up every so often, and someone confesses to it, but then nothing ever comes out from that. But again, yeah, one of the most famous true crime cases in all of true crime history. The house, again, $6,249,000 sold. It's gonna sell. The house could be the biggest piece of shit on the whole block, and just because it has that notoriety attached to it, it's gonna sell. They're gonna make that money. Unbelievable.
The house where John Benet Ramsey lived and died has hit the market for $6.25 million. I've done my best to match up the listing photos with the crime scene photos, so we're going to take a walk through and see what's changed and what remains the same. But first, let's talk about that price. A recent study done by Real Estate Witch tells us that a full 37% of people would consider it a deal breaker if the home that they were buying was the scene of a violent crime. So let's...
Okay, but they do it if the scene of a violent crime. I would understand, but again, it depends on the notoriety on it. It's because it's John Benet Ramsey and it's one of the most famous true crime cases. I don't think anyone's gonna have a problem with that. Now, if I'll give you an example. It's like a Amityville horror kind of shit. It's like the Bever family, and those type of houses you have to demolish it because obviously no one wants to live there. But because the case has never been resolved, and it's still up in the air. It'll pique some millionaire's interest, and they'll buy the house. Plus, it's in Boulder, Colorado, and Boulder's supposed to be really nice too. So, like, even within the whole fact that a violent crime was committed in that house, people would still buy it. It's insane.
Let's take a look through and see if you think they changed enough to warrant that high price. Here's what it looked like in '96 on the outside. Since 1998, they installed privacy gates and they actually changed the address of the house. Here's what the house looks like today inside. In this crime scene photo of the dining room, take a look at the French doors. They just painted them black and they left the same hardware. Much of the first floor looks exactly the same as it used to, even down to the curtain rods in this family room. New owners have put in a brand new kitchen. You can see the recognizable black and white tile flooring is gone, but they've kept this walk-in refrigerator and added a new stainless steel panel to the front. In the butler's pantry, the black and white tiling is still there. At first glance, the bathrooms in this house might appear updated. When you look a little closer at these old crime scene photos, you'll see they've added a new sink and top, but this vanity and the drawer pulls are exactly the same. In some of the bathrooms, the distinctive black tile around the tub is still there. In the primary suite, we see that they replaced the old blue carpeting for some fresh beige carpeting, but not much else has changed. Even the wall sconces are the same. Downstairs in the basement, where many think the crime occurred, it's been completely renovated. In this room, the new owners put in a wine cellar. While the rest of the basement used to be a series of storage rooms, it's now one big open entertaining space. Obviously, a lot of this price comes down to the stunning location, but this house was sold in 1998 for only $650,000, and it has been on and off the market at least 6 times since then, most recently with a huge price increase. This place is already priced way higher than any homes around it. So what do you guys think? Would you live here?
See? I told you. Why do you think they're charging that price? Why do you think the price keeps going up for it? Yeah. It's because of that notoriety attached to it. Now, 6 different owners in that short span of time, let me tell you something. When it comes to houses, from 98, 25 years, 6 people, that's a lot. When you would think that a house only, that's not like being rented or anything, you would only have it for like the owner, or like if they sell it to the next, you would think that there's time between all that, but 6 people living in that house, buying it and reselling it, something's going on there besides the notoriety that's attached to it. But yeah, this is a little catastrophes, not necessarily very much involved in the true crimes world, but a little different than what we normally do. My wife and I we're millennials, so we like to go on Zillow sometimes and check out what the pricing of houses in our area are currently at, and we just laugh because it's just so completely unattainable at this point that who the fuck are these people selling these houses to? It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is that if there's a zombie apocalypse, a lot of places are going to be empty. Tell you that much. Alright, we'll watch 2 or 3 more, and then we'll end the live stream for tonight. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Like I've always mentioned, the time that you take to watch me here, especially now watching these TikTok videos, it's very comforting. It means the world to me, and I really appreciate you. Thank you very much.
It is a heinous crime.
It's a us.truecrime at us.truecrime.
Police say by a husband enraged that his wife might be having an affair. What happened next, we have to warn you, is so violent it may not be appropriate for some viewers.
This woman has 2 black eyes.
Shit.
The result, cops say, of a beating by her enraged husband after he discovered she was having an affair with a co-worker. What authorities say happened next is shocking.
This case is especially heinous and gruesome.
31-year-old Brittany Barron told police her husband Armando was looking through her phone when he found text messages from her co-worker Jonathan Emerald. They both worked at a medical supply company in New Hampshire. Brittany said what followed was a violent assault, with her husband beating her about the face repeatedly and strangling her so hard she says she passed out. Then her husband texted her lover pretending to be Brittany and lured him to meet at a park in the woods.
Holy
when
shit.
Emerald showed up for the middle of the night rendezvous with his alleged lover, a grim fate awaited him. That's when Brittany told investigators her husband turned and shot Jonathan 3 times, twice in the chest and once in the head. The couple then drove 200 miles with the body into the deep forests of New Hampshire, where the husband ordered Brittany to cut off Jonathan's head with a saw so that he could not be identified, according to court documents.
The defendant decapitated Jonathan, wrapped his head in a tarp, and placed it in a grave.
The gruesome crime was exposed when Fish and Game officers happened to come upon the scene. Armando Barron has pled not guilty to murder. His wife was charged with falsifying physical evidence. She pled not guilty when she appeared in court, and you could still see those 2 black eyes.
You can hear me, right?
Yes, I can.
Her lawyer, Richard Guerriero.
Everything that the state alleges that Miss Barron did, she did under duress. And I mean under duress, meaning direct fear from her for her life.
It is a heinous crime sparked, police say, by a...
Damn, holy shit. You could obviously, she was pressured by her husband to do that. These comments are... Wow. I'm not going to waste my time reading them or showing them to you. I just quickly glanced at them because I have them like right here and I can see them on my screen. And let me tell you, it ain't even fucking worth it. Because a lot of guys like to talk with their fingers... And it's really cool to say they think they're killing and they're eating with what they're saying. And they sound so tough and rough and... And those are the same type of dudes, like I mentioned before, with that the case that we watched of the guy that put his girlfriend in like a freezer or some shit like that. And she ended up surviving. He thought he had killed her. He was just laughing there and... all tough and rough until he was read the verdict and he had that dumb confused look on his face and wondering why and all this, and everything really changed from a happy-go-lucky smile to someone worried about his future all of a sudden. When I read these type of comments, that's what I'm reminded of. It's these dudes that will say anything here, but yeah, pretty horrible case in and of itself. You can obviously tell that this person was pressured into committing this crime. If someone you're with does something like that, do they cheat on you and shit, just fucking leave. That's it. There's so many fish out there. Listen, prison is not worth for anyone. Prison is not, it's not worth it, and it's not worth going to because of someone else at all. I'm good with that. I'm cool. Alright, we'll watch 2 more videos. Move on to the next one.
It took them...
This is Making a True Crimer 2. At Making a True Crimer 2.
29 years to find out who she was. Now the question is, who put her head in that park? Hello, true crimers. This is the case of the Ina Jane Doe. Viewer discretion is advised. It was January 27th, 1993, and it was at the Wayne Fitzgerald State Park, and this is near Ina, Illinois. 2 younger girls were walking in the park when they saw something in one of the bushes. And it was kind of on the side of a road within the park. That item that they saw was a human head. Essentially, it was just the skull, so it was like skeletal remains. The rest of that individual's body was never really found. So all they really had to work on was the skull. They were able to tell it was the skull of a female, and they would initially come up with this sketch, which obviously, back then is probably the best they could do. Then they did the whole the clay molds thing to see if they could better replicate what the individual may look like.
I remember hearing about this case.
Came up with. The reason why the head is tilted in this way is because I guess they thought that this individual had an issue with their muscles or something like that that caused their head to tilt to the left. But no one ever identified her. No one recognized her, and no one recognized her based on this image either. And so for the next 29 years, her case just went cold. So 29 years later, they reopen her cold case. They have a team of forensic specialists extract DNA from the skull, and they come up with a more, modern image of what the individual may have looked like. But they also run it through the genealogical database and, all that fancy stuff they do now. And they finally came up with a hit. Through that genealogical testing, they came to this woman, Susan Lund. She was 25 years old in 1992 when she disappeared. She lived here in this apartment building with her husband, and they had 3 children.
Really quickly, not to interrupt, his name is Mikey. Not to interrupt Mikey real quick, but crazy how DNA forensics and the being able to investigate crimes through forensics and using DNA, like I just mentioned, started at the beginning of the 90s. So it's not as if there was a whole lot of time that this method was being used beforehand. This is, maybe not now anymore, but 2005, for example, using DNA and analyzing it and extracting from remains and all that only had a decade and a little bit more, maybe less. So that's how new it is, sort of still to us, but because of those advancements in technology and science, go science, we are now able to generate images, make comparisons between the DNA that was extracted from the remains and DNA that's in evidence, or that I don't know, in the store somewhere, whatever the hell you want to call it. But the advancements in science allow us to be able to get to the point where we are now, and it's just great to see, man. Go science. That's I mentioned it before. I mentioned it already in this live stream, but it's just I am so keen on just how important it is for knowledge to be at the forefront of everything. And it's, again, what's allowed us to have science. And science is what allowed us to have all these advancements that we enjoy of. So, moving on. Let's hear what Mikey has to say.
She left the apartment on Christmas Eve 1992 to go walk to the store, and the young mother never came home. She was reported missing pretty much right away, but their investigation really led nowhere. They assumed she just ran off. At one point they suspected, well, maybe her husband did something to her. But the thing is they can prove he was home the entire night she disappeared. He certainly wasn't decapitating her and disposing her body in Illinois, because they lived in Tennessee. So there was no way he did anything to her. So while one mystery is solved, another one remains. The stranger part is that when they found her head, they determined she had been killed about 2 weeks prior to being found, which means she was alive for 2 weeks. They based that off of the fact that this was a busy park and the head was located in an area that people had walked by all the time, and so surely someone would have noticed it. But then you can use that same logic, because they said she was decapitated 2 weeks prior to being found, so that's still 2 weeks where her head is in these bushes.
True.
Unless the killer threw her head in there, literally just maybe a day or so before all of this. But was Susan truly alive for 2 weeks before she was killed and decapitated? That's nobody knows. The mystery is, what happened to her that Christmas Eve night in 1992 when she went to the store? Was she kidnapped? Did she run away with someone who was obviously the wrong person? I think they lean more towards she was probably abducted.
I think so, too.
But then if that 2 week theory is true, what was happening in that first 2 weeks? because this is like a month after she disappears when she's found. So, and with the husband basically being cleared, they don't have anyone else. So if you have any information about the disappearance, abduction, and murder of Susan Lund, please contact the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department at 618-244-8004, and perhaps you can help solve this mystery. It took the...
Yeah, but one step forward. At least we know who it is. It can give the family some closure. But yeah, I think so too. I'm leaning into the maybe it was an abduction, and yeah, I guess that doesn't constitute for the 2 weeks, but because we've seen so many true crime cases, and there are so many true crime content creators out there talking about so many other different cases, how many have you not heard about that? You know, person could have been abducted and maybe tortured somewhere, or anything. They drugged her and did whatever they did and dismembered the body and left the head in the park. It's not very far-fetched to think. So I wouldn't put it past whoever committed the crime that's what happened. It sucks that this could well be a cold case and may never be resolved, and the person could have gotten away with it if they're dead now, and if they're still alive, most likely they will be able to get away with it, because it doesn't seem like there's any evidence that could lead to anyone. The husband was already cleared, so damn. Susan Lund, hopefully your family will get even more closure and justice will be served for you. Holy shit. Alright, last video of the... Ooh, that's loud. I'm going to move on to the next one. It's too loud. I'm not going to do that too loud. This is a part 4.
1990.
Nope.
They codenamed it Unibomber.
Part 3.
Funny and...
This teenager sent a
What you're about to watch is extremely...
Okay, this is Crime with Court. This will be the last video we see tonight. At Crime with Court.
disturbing, so watch at your own risk. That was a woman who earlier this month escaped her kidnapper after being held captive for the last year. As seen in the video, she made her escape to a gas station in Burlington County, New Jersey, and following close behind trying to catch her was her abductor. The woman's identity has been withheld for her safety, but her kidnapper is 57-year-old James Perillo Jr. According to authorities, the woman met James at a gas station in New Mexico in February of last year during a cross-country road trip. James told her that his name was Brett Parker and asked her for a ride to Arizona, in which she agreed. According to her, for the first month they were in a consensual relationship, but it wasn't long after that he began assaulting her. He took away her phone and debit cards and isolated her from her family. He then spent the next year holding the woman captive and traveling with her throughout the country. In the weeks before she escaped, the two had visited a gas station in New Jersey that was close to a room that James had rented out in Bass River Township. And it was there that she noticed that the store had an interior deadbolt. It was at this point that she began plotting her escape. The day she escaped, James had been beating and choking her, and she somehow broke free and made a run for it back to that gas station. It was only 42 degrees out, and she was wearing only a t-shirt and shorts with no shoes. When she got inside of the store, she immediately locked the door, and it's a really good thing she did because James was right behind her. Luckily, he didn't get in though. The woman told the attendant that she had been kidnapped and held captive for the last year and that she needed help. She had deep cuts and marks on her neck. James was caught and arrested that same day, which was February 7th. He's being held at the Burlington County Jail with no bail because, according to authorities, they found evidence online that he may have had other victims in the past. He's been charged with first-degree kidnapping, second-degree strangulation, and aggravated assault, amongst many other charges. If convicted, he faces up to 47 years in prison and a fine of nearly $500,000. What you're about to...
Holy shit. Damn, she's so fucking lucky. Thank goodness she closed that door. Who knows, that face, look at that face. And then he would have really, yeah, he would have really done a number on her. He was holding her captive. That is insanity. That is crazy. All right, well, that's the end of tonight's live stream. I really appreciate you guys being here. I'm gonna have some pizza for tonight. Nice margarita pizza. I might do a full episode of just watching like TikTok videos and random videos online. I really like this. It's pretty cool. I like reading cases too. That's not gonna go away, but like I mentioned before, I might just change it, switch it up a bit, and read cases on TikTok live, and I don't know, maybe do something different with this show. I don't know. I have a lot of things planned, but all in all, it's to better entertain you, grow a community, converse with other people, build friendships, watch movies. Dude, I have just so many goals in my head right now, and I'm gonna achieve them all. And it's just so cool to be in front of a camera, being live, creating content. Just even with all the negative comments I get not a lot, but I get some negative comments, a lot of hate and shit. But nonetheless, I don't give a shit about any of that. You can hate all you want, as long as you watch the video. I don't really give a shit. Peaches are the sweetest fruit in existence, and some people don't like peaches. So yeah, that's a lesson we should all learn in life. And not everyone's gonna like you. Not everyone's gonna like what you do. Not everyone's gonna like this face. And I'm okay with that. Doesn't mean much to me. There's some people that will like it, and to those people that do like it, this is why I do what I do. And you are the reason why I make videos and just everything that has to do with live streaming content creation. So I am so thankful. Join the Discord that I will be creating soon. Just look out for that post on YouTube. You can subscribe to my channel, like my videos, comment on them, let me know what you think. If you want to further support me, you can do it two ways. You can either do it through Twitch using your Amazon Prime, or you can subscribe to my Patreon. That's $1 a month, and you get a whole bunch of benefits plus audio versions of the episodes. I will also include some of these TikTok videos exclusive for Patreon members, and I'm trying to keep it as diverse as possible. Yeah, I am also on Instagram for true crime as well. Facebook, I still have it for the King Angel Show, but I have one for true crime as well, so you can just follow me on one and you'll see the content of the other one as well, so you won't miss out on anything. And yeah, this episode I'm going to leave full on YouTube, and subsequent episodes after this one I'll unlist them and have them exclusive for Patreon members. But nonetheless, this was extremely fun. I really appreciate it. Do Ray to stop by. I appreciate your comment. Anyone else that lurked, watched my show, thank you very much. Means the world to me. Join the Discord when I create it. It's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait to share the link and have people join. It's going to be so awesome. Follow me on TikTok. That's at KASTruecrime.com. And last but not least, have a great week. I will be live soon. I still haven't even finished Spider-Man 2. That's how busy I've been. But nonetheless, take it easy. You guys have a very good night. Have a great work week. It's already almost December. It's almost the end of the year. That's insane. I'm going to have 2 years content creating in February. That's how it is. Time flies, baby. Have a great night. Take it easy. And peace.